Comfort Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Trusted for over 100 years. Call Jackson Comfort now for same-day service or book online at jacksoncomfort.com. Latest Guardians pitcher to be done in by a lack of support. Parker Messick on Sunday at Tampa Bay. He allowed just one run over 7 2/3 innings and still took the loss. The Rays win 1-0. Skipper Stephen Vogt on the job done by the young lefty.
Parker was unbelievable, efficient. They really didn't get anything going outside the one inning. They manufactured a run really well. Tip your cap to them. It's what you have to do against pitchers like that. So he was outstanding. That was as impressive as we've seen Parker all year.
Rays sweep the 3-game series. The Guardians blanked in back-to-back games and now have a season-high 5-game losing streak. Only hit of the game for the Guardians. Leadoff double by Stephen Kwan in the top of the first. Cavaliers did not sign LeBron James, so according to the agent for Mario Hezonja, the former NBA lottery pick is coming to Cleveland. Hezonja was the 5th overall selection in the 2015 draft by Orlando. Spent 5 years in the NBA, then off to Europe he went. At Real Madrid this past season, Hezonja averaged 18 points a game, was named the Spanish League's MVP. He averaged 13 points a contest in EuroLeague games. Reports say Hezonja gets a one-year deal from the Cavs worth $2.8 million. Despite what appeared to be a TikTok live video, Browns receiver Jerry Jeudy says he's not calling for Deshaun Watson to be the starting quarterback. When asked who the starter should be, Jeudy appeared to flash 4 fingers, Watson's number. The video does appear to be edited, and Jeudy later posted he doesn't speak on decisions that aren't his to make. Meanwhile, the Browns continue with training camp this past weekend. Quarterbacks and the rookies arriving late last week. Things will ramp up this week. Veterans set to report tomorrow, and the first full squad practice set for Wednesday. Browns will do their first open practice for the fans coming up Friday in Berea. Can I find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next time, the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
All the hits, grunts, strains, and sprains. Training camp coverage like nobody else. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
One thing you will not call me during this phone call is somebody who's anything other than devastated. And I said that weeks ago, and I got made fun of. Oh, you're going to be devastated over losing a 41-year-old player entering his 24th year. And I got to say, I am. Now, I never acted entitled. I do not understand the fans that just thought he owed it to us somehow to finish his career here. I thought, if anything, LeBron's entire career has been about player empowerment, making sure the players hold the cars, not the owners, not the team. And while he says all the nice things about fans, I think we know in the end, like, they do this for them. They do this for their legacies. And yeah, if they can cheer up fans along the way, they'll do it. I don't know how you guys feel when it comes to that. I've been able to listen to a little bit so far today, but I'm not getting on here ruining the day that we ever got in bed with LeBron James. Like, it's up to us. It's up to the Cavs to make it a palatable situation that he wants to come to, and he didn't choose us. It sucks. The Mike Gansey part of this doubly sucks. The Dean Wade part of this triply sucks. It all kind of sucks today, but life will go on. I still think the Cavs have a chance to be decent this year, and I'm interested to see what kind of a pivot they can make now that they didn't get them.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
And they have made the pivot, ladies and gentlemen. You can sleep easy at night. We can party in the streets. Folks, Mario Hezonja, a Cleveland Cavalier. We got him. We got him. We got Mario Hezonja, a Cleveland Cavalier. No. We didn't get LeBron. Daryl Ryder. We didn't get Ken Carman either today, because Ken Carman was certainly, if you've been listening to him the last 2 weeks, he was not going to be held hostage by LeBron James, Rich Paul. I got some issues with Cian Cotton. Got some big issues with him. He was leading people astray. Chad Mraz, he didn't do anything. That's a former LeBron teammate, too. Mav, maybe Mav did. I'm not sure.
There's a few that were selling LeBron's return for a third time pretty hard.
Does anybody have an issue with, and we'll get into the nuts and bolts of this. We got Danny Cunningham at 7:20. You never know who might pop in. Second half of the show as well. We had all sorts of stuff happen over the weekend. We do have Browns as they get ready to embark on their new journey this year. the Guardians are playing the worst baseball they've played all year. I know the LeBron thing hit on Friday basically as we were out the door, so we didn't get a chance to comment on it. Ken didn't get a chance to comment on it. Ken is on sabbatical. That's how much the LeBron news has devastated him. He does have practice this week. So LeBron did not get in the way of Ken molding the next group of powerhouse football players.
Oh, I thought it was the specter of another riveting Browns quarterback competition that set him on sabbatical.
Ken's got notes. He's got the notes ready to go. I'm very curious what Ken and Daryl and Owen and John Calavita, Ace and Gary in the back, young Joey. I am interested to hear them and their thorough investigation over the Jerry Jeudy stuff that happened over the weekend. But we have to start front and center. LeBron is not a Cavalier. I want to know who's to blame. Who's to blame, Daryl? I know you were on this weekend, and this is one of those things where, yes, I thought we were getting LeBron. Yeah. I said I'd be devastated if we didn't get LeBron.
Are you devastated this morning?
I am. It sucks. Not because I thought it was like 2014 where I thought it was going to be Cavs every night, national television, and championships. Like they would have gotten national TV, but they were the championship thing. I think it would have helped them. It certainly wouldn't have put them ahead of Oklahoma City, the Spurs, or even the Knicks. And I was adamant about that before they did. This isn't revisionist history. I said that at the time, but I thought LeBron, even at 41, 24 years in, was a massive upgrade over Dean Wade. And now you get to join forces with Dean Wade over in Philly.
I was expecting to wake up this morning and see in my inbox the upcoming NBA schedule from Adam Silver. I mean, he's had a couple of days now to finish this thing off.
Oh, that's right. What's he waiting for?
Yeah. What are we waiting on, Adam?
Did they also...
You found out on Friday. LeBron to Philly. How hard is it to fill in the rest of the schedule now?
Did they also have the lovely husband and wife that used to create the baseball schedule every year? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that
true,
story.
Or was that just...
No, I think that was true. I mean, that was
definitely true.
Were they in Nebraska or
Wisconsin,
Iowa?
I think.
Come on.
They used to make the schedules on whiteboards and stuff. I had to erase our whiteboard on Friday.
I know, Daryl. I was sad to see it go.
The Rich Paul whiteboard. You know what? I actually messed up. I should have trolled everybody by leaving the Philadelphia 76ers on the board. I should have erased everything on the whiteboard except the Philadelphia 76ers portion. I should not have erased that. I apologize.
What a coup, right? What a coup for Mike Gansey. He's in Philly.
He's the executive of the year, right?
Exactly right. I mean,
turn in your ballots now.
100%. Now, we'll see if any of their players. Well, we'll see if LeBron gets through the season. We'll see if Joel Embiid gets through the season.
Turns into a big dumpster fire, though. We'll see.
Listen.
I mean, it looks good on paper right now. Everyone's got them penciled into the conference finals and NBA finals, but I mean, how many free agency, regardless if it's baseball, basketball, football, how many free agency bananas have just kind of blown up in teams' faces, over the years? I mean, we see it all the time where we're talking about teams making splashes in free agency and bringing in all these players and how they're going to win the championship or play for the championship, and then their season turns into an unmitigated disaster. So just because Mike Gansey has had himself a very fine offseason, signing Dean Wade, trading for Brown, and then getting LeBron James, there's no guarantee. I'll say this. When you talk about who's to blame, LeBron's to blame. There's no one else to blame. It's not Rich Paul, as much as I do want to blame him because he's talking out of both sides of his mouth with all the sources say reporting that's coming from, Wendy and Joe Varden and Scoop B and all the David Aldrich, all the national reporters that are doing these in-depth, behind the scenes of LeBron's big decision to go to Philadelphia, right? The narratives surrounding the Cavaliers. But if you've paid attention to various multimedia productions surrounding LeBron, whether it's Rich Paul's podcast, whether it's podcasts that LeBron has done, it's all contradictory, right? We're blaming the Cavs trading Darius Garland to the Clippers for why LeBron didn't come back. We're now blaming the fact that they're supposedly surprised that Donovan Mitchell was the superstar that was not moved by the Cavaliers, but there's evidence that LeBron actually felt that Donovan had a little more to offer than Darius did. And oh, by the way, Rich Paul's, happened to admit on his own podcast, I think it was last summer, where he had told Darius this is going to be your last year in Cleveland. So, I just come out.
I have 10 myths. We're going to get to this later in the show.
I mean, just come out and say you didn't want to play for the Cavs. You accomplished everything you were going to accomplish in Cleveland. There was no reason to go back in Philadelphia to climb the mountain again, and that's that. What's with all these excuses, and what are you covering for? There's nothing to cover. There's nothing, you won the championship here, so there's nothing to feel bad about not choosing the Cavaliers. I just don't know why there's all these excuses, or as you put them, myths that are being circulated about why LeBron did not come back to the Cavaliers. It's a waste of time.
Well, right now, there's no doubt that the pressure is on Kobe. The pressure is on the Cavs because it looks like, because they have not made a move other than Hazonia yesterday.
They re-signed Donovan Mitchell.
This is key here. If you look at,
they drafted Malik in the second round.
What the teams have done across the Eastern Conference landscape.
You're dismissing all those moves?
Dismissing. Well, I don't think their offseason has really begun yet. And I think that's bothering people that they have been on hold because they were talking confident. Let's be honest. Kenny Atkinson at the Summer League was talking extremely confidently about LeBron. The James Harden in Brazil were caught up with at the soccer, the World Cup. ESPN Brazil talked to him, and he said, that's the plan. Everything led to the Cavs coveting LeBron and kind of basing their offseason on LeBron, which I know on its surface, on paper, that seems crazy.
Probably a bad idea to be counting on LeBron if you're the Cavaliers.
Well, they know better than anybody how finicky this can be and how they never have known what LeBron is thinking. I think that's part of the good and the bad of LeBron. Like, LeBron is not somebody that you could see these moves coming from a mile away. Look, Kenny and I had argued 4 weeks ago about the Knicks. Like, he thought I was goofing about the Knicks, and I think clearly now we know. I think his move was the Knicks until they won the championship.
So just like the Cavaliers now have to go to their plan B this offseason, the Sixers were LeBron's plan B. His original desire.
Well, after they got Jaylen Brown.
Right. Well, his original desire was to sign with the Knicks. Then the Knicks won the NBA championship and were like, yeah, bro, we're good. We got the trophy. We're good. You don't need to come here. So he had to then pivot and find his next challenge. There was no challenge left for him in Cleveland. He already won the championship. In doing so, he beat the winningest team in regular season NBA history. In doing so, he became the only team to come back from down 1-3 in a finals. It doesn't get any better with that. And of his 4 championships, the championship that everybody remembers, it's not the bubble title with the Lakers, it's not the 2 with the Heat, it is 2016 with the Cavaliers.
That's true.
Cleveland, this is for you. That is what everyone remembers when you're talking about LeBron's legacy. Now, if he goes to Philadelphia and wins a championship with his 4th different franchise, well, maybe the legacy shifts a little bit. But, this notion that the Cavaliers put all the eggs in the LeBron basket. Look, I hope the pitch wasn't come home for all the feels, LeBron, because that's not LeBron. And if that was the pitch, and I don't know what the Cavaliers pitched him, okay? But if that was the pitch, Anthony, that's 2010 all over again. Remember the stories about they had the video of all their inside childish jokes
cartoon,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, Pat Riley walks in and he just starts putting rings on the table in front of LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Completely pulled. So I hope that wasn't the pitch to LeBron was, hey, come home for all the feels. We made you cry in January with our tribute video because that's not what drives LeBron. Winning and competing for championships, that's what drives LeBron, okay? And if you look at, and I've said this about the Cavaliers, yes, they got to the conference finals. They got swept. I felt this was a major opportunity to miss. Had they been able to get by the Knicks, they could have beaten the Spurs. They would have beaten the Spurs, okay? And we would have had a second NBA championship. But they didn't do that.
You think the Cavs would have?
Yes, I think the Cavaliers would have, yes.
Daryl, spicy on a Monday morning.
Absolutely. Massive, massive opportunity missed by them. Because now Like, this past season was supposed to be the easy path to the NBA Finals. Now look at the Eastern Conference. It's now a gauntlet all of a sudden.
Well, now tanking's gone. Everybody is motivated to get out of the bottom three because of the way.
There's 5 or 6 teams that could win the Eastern Conference this coming season.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I want to hear from the fans on this. 216-474-0092. I know the news hit Friday. I want to know how people having the weekend to take it all in, right, and to try to figure out where you were on your LeBron feelings, because, it happened on cue. I once the news happened, it was, LeBron did us dirty again. Get rid of the statue. He means nothing to us. I don't believe any of that.
I was convinced he was coming back.
I was too.
And you know what? I should have known better.
Why, Daryl?
I should have known better.
You're the Browns beat reporter, not the LeBron beat reporter.
I've had 2 tours with LeBron. I was prepared to sign up for a third.
So why should you have seen this coming?
I should have known better. Because having a couple of nights to sleep on it and digest it and read everything over the weekend here, it stared me right in the face how obvious it was he really was not going to come back to the Cavaliers. There were
Why do you say that?
Because, again, what drives him is competing for championships.
Cavs were good last year.
Well, he was in search of his next purpose in the NBA. Like, think about this, right? His first tour with the Cavaliers, got to 1 NBA Finals, got back to the conference finals, got beat up pretty bad by Orlando, really didn't sniff the finals again. His purpose became winning championships. He goes to Miami, 4 straight finals, wins 2 titles. Then his purpose became, I need to make good on what I did in 2010 to Cleveland. Let's go home and try and win a championship. That became his purpose. He did it. Then it was, okay, let's see if we can do a little dynasty here in Cleveland real quick. Like, nope, they got KD. Can't do that. Now my purpose, the Lakers, heritage franchise in the NBA, has fallen on hard times. My purpose now, go out there, establish my post-career business setup, and help them return to glory. Well, won a championship there, albeit in the bubble, but a championship's a championship. So he served his purpose in LA. Then, what's his next purpose? Well, coming back to the Cavaliers, I don't know what his next purpose with the Cavaliers would have been other than just trying to repeat what he did the second time around with them. So now his purpose is to elevate another NBA franchise and bring them a championship. He wanted to do it with the Knicks. That was going to be his purpose. I'm going to go to New York and be the knight in shining armor to end their drought, end their misery. Well, too late. That's already been done. Brunson took care of that this year, right? So now, okay, where can I go to have purpose? Golden State? Nah, not really. That was a dynasty for a while. And also, I was the victim of said dynasty. So Philadelphia makes pretty good sense.
All right, listen to Daryl on a Monday. All right, 216-474-0092. Central question is obvious that we're going to get into. Who is to blame for LeBron James no longer being a Cavalier when we come back? I told you, I have 10 different myths I would like to debunk. 10. Do we even have time the rest of the show? I have 10 of them. We have audio proof. We'll go through it all. I've seen so much nonsense, some of it coming from people on this very station.
Are they ranked?
You know what? I do have them. Maybe more in chronological order, but we'll get to that. Plus, why me, Anthony, who said I'd be devastated if we didn't get LeBron, why I think I will be booing LeBron the first chance I get when he comes to Cleveland. We'll get to all that straight ahead on Sports Radio 92.3. The Fan, XTENDAV.com. Well, I know for one thing, when LeBron comes back to Cleveland, I will not be watching at home, but if I
telling you that all that stuff was false.
Right.
You know, all this speculation. And again, these guys are just trying to do their job. So I'm not, but ultimately, we wanted to be very, very, very tight to the vest.
Of course.
Because, you know, it was a tough decision for him.
And did he just make the decision? How long has he known about the Sixers?
He just really decided on it, like
100%.
bang, bang, yeah.
Was it down to the Sixers and Golden State at the end?
It was pretty layered across the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
There were a lot of layering going on the Mind the Game podcast. Rich Paul, Max Kellerman, The Ringer. There's a lot of layers. I think a lot of lies and layers over the past month, and they were jerking us around. Let's be honest. They have been having fun. Hey, I wish, honestly, I think it would be a lot of fun to be like Rich is a multi-millionaire. He has a chance to be if he wants.
He's the de facto NBA commissioner.
Well, if he wants to be a GM, if he wants to be a president.
No, why would you? You control 32 NBA franchises as an agent.
Look,
you had the entire league on hold for 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Nobody was conducting league business until they knew what LeBron was going to do. Why would you give up that kind of power?
I think it would be a lot of fun to sit there. The whiteboard thing was such a good bit. I was jealous. As a radio professional, as somebody who is supposed to be in charge of driving content all the time, that whiteboard bit was hilarious. It was all lies. None of it, like they were just joking. The whole thing was a bit.
We got trolled for 4 weeks.
Absolutely. And you know what? All of us are guilty of running with it.
And we were glued to that podcast.
Because what else did we have?
Yeah.
Right? No breadcrumbs were really starting to get out there after.
Could you imagine Drew Rosenhaus? But pick, I don't know, whatever top free agent you want that's a Drew Rosenhaus client. Could you imagine Drew Rosenhaus doing a series of podcasts on his client's free agency, or Tom Condon or one of these other super agents doing a series of podcasts on their client's free agency over the course of a month? I can't. I've never seen anything like that in my life professionally.
Look, this is Rich Paul's world. I've said this. People don't seem to care about the Rich Paul part of this because he's not the basketball player. But in many ways,
best thing ever happened to him was running into LeBron at the airport.
Well, and he gets all sorts of flack. People line up to be like, well, you're only in this position because of LeBron. It's like, yeah, you know what? A lot of other people's crossed paths with LeBron. They didn't become this powerful.
Right.
You know, and by the way, I say the same thing about Maverick Carter, how incredibly, people don't even know how he moves the needle in Hollywood and elsewhere because he's not as self-promoting,
right,
maybe as some of the other people. But the three of them, I watched LeBron and Maverick Carter play basketball together.
Yeah.
Way back when, my senior year of high school. I've told the story on the air. To see where they have all come in all these years, it is an amazing story. It's not the story people care about today. We're without LeBron James. And to hear Rich Paul talk about this, people are getting angrier and angrier and angrier because why? We don't have the answers. We did not control the situation. Kobe Altman, it is his job to build a roster that would make LeBron want to come here for that final leg of the journey, that final leg of that championship journey. And while, I thought getting to the Eastern Conference Finals was a big deal. Many disagreed with me. Clearly, LeBron
disagreed
James
with you.
And Kobe and Rich Paul. Clearly, they disagreed. If Jaylen Brown doesn't get sold pennies on the dollar by the Boston Celtics, what kind of conversation are we having today?
What if the Cavaliers traded for Jaylen Brown? What if the Cavs, I don't know, did or did not make other moves? I still say LeBron wasn't coming home. Now that I've had time to sleep on this and look back on it and reflect over the last 4 weeks and really dissect what Rich Paul said on all those podcasts with Max Kellerman, LeBron was never coming home. They made it sound like he was coming home. I mean, we had Cupcake Person reporting LeBron was coming home. We had childhood friends of LeBron saying, yeah, LeBron's coming home. Yeah, I don't think he's ever coming home. I really don't. Yes, it is true. The Cavaliers were a contender. They were in consideration. He wasn't picking them.
All right, so would he have picked the Cavs If all the clutch clients were here. if I'm being dead serious.
But by the way, I don't think the Cavaliers employ any clutch clients anymore, do they?
No, not right now.
Okay.
But
are they ever going to have another clutch client again?
Yeah. How can you be an NBA team and not take them seriously? He is, one of the leading agencies representation of NBA
kind of
players.
Feels like Rich Paul couldn't wait to get his clutch clients out of Cleveland. I'm just saying.
Well, and we're going to get to that when I told you 10 in my hand, 10 different things that I've heard over the weekend that I want to debunk. And we even have some audio to prove it as well. But I want to get, before we get to the fans here, I know they're lining up to talk. The blame game on LeBron. I have been, at times, the afternoon show, Ken Carman, they've called me Whammer. They have said I've been carrying the water for the Cavs based on a lot of my defense of Kobe and the Harden trade, which I will reiterate for the 100th time, made the team better, gave them more financial flexibility.
Yeah. Got him out of the second apron.
And they got past the second round. Check, check, check. 3 things that were not happening had Darius Garland been on the team. I've done that to death.
Well, James Harden actually played in the playoffs, whereas Darius Garland would not have played in the playoffs.
He's better than Darius Garland. I don't know how many. Nobody in the league thinks Darius is better.
He's definitely better dribbling basketballs off his knees and ankles than Darius Garland is.
Darius needs to play in the playoffs. And by the way, he definitely had no problems committing turnovers when he was going up against Indiana. And we can look at the Knicks a few years ago. Whatever. I don't know how this is even controversial. I know what Rich Paul said. I know what he put on the whiteboard. He's also his agent.
Yes.
Like, you got to remember that, guys. This isn't hard. Don't fall for
the banana in the tailpipe.
There is so much in the way of, they're clowning a lot of the media and fans.
Yes.
When they do this. And when I see what Windy put out there, and I think Windy is one of the best. I don't even have to go through all the things that I need to say about when I've been reading him from day one. He got played by Rich Paul in this. So many people got played by Rich Paul during this process.
We all got played by Rich Paul in this process.
And I did warn people last week that I said in many ways, this might be more about Rich Paul and trying to advance the ball forward for all of his clients.
Yeah.
Than anything LeBron. I thought LeBron had his mind made up a few weeks ago. Turns out he probably did, but it was for Philadelphia. That was my misstep. It wasn't for Cleveland.
Well, I did say for a couple weeks not to discount the 76ers, that they were a dark horse to sign him. I didn't actually think it was going to happen, though. Again, because I was convinced, based on everything that I was hearing that was being put out there, I'm like, he's coming back. Like, all signs point to Cleveland, Ohio for this thing, and I should have known better, because again, like, it's not, when you talk about a tenure with the Cavaliers, Anthony, you're never topping 2016. Number one. Number two, what if he came back and he didn't win the championship again? Right? Whether it was 2 or 3 years that he'd be back to wrap up his career. Okay. But he didn't win another championship. He retired with 4 instead of 5, or maybe 6. Okay, I think that weighed heavily on him when he was making this decision. And again, look at all the contending teams. Miami, he already won 2 titles there. Golden State, he was on the receiving end of that dynasty. So there's no drought in Golden State. In fact, the Warriors came back and won a title a couple years ago, right? The Knicks were out because they had won the championship. So he can't be the hero there in New York. He can go to Philadelphia now and be the hero. Like, that was the one spot of all the contenders where he could show up and be the hero. And nobody loves being the hero more than LeBron James. That's a big part of what drives him. And I don't mean that as a negative. That's not me being sarcastic.
Well, that's a cool thing. That'd be amazing.
Like, that drives him. And to be able to do things never done before, because the number one thing that gets held against him in the GOAT conversation is, well, Jordan won 6 titles with the Bulls, went 6-0 in the NBA Finals. Okay, I think LeBron's been to 10, 11 finals. He's won 4 of them. And the fact that he's lost 5, 6 NBA Finals has been used against him. Like, that's
which
bad
is
thing.
silly.
It's ridiculous because you look at some of the teams he went to the finals with, they had no business being in the finals.
Yeah.
Okay?
The Warriors teams in 2017 and 2018 were some of the best teams I've ever seen in my life.
And also, too, LeBron, those 2 years, played some of his best basketball ever. The Cavaliers, I would argue the Cavaliers, the year after they won the championship, okay? The 16-17 season, I would argue that Cavalier team was better than the 2016 NBA champions. And they got their you-know-what handed to them in the NBA Finals by Golden State, okay? And then we know what happened in the 18 NBA Finals before LeBron left for Los Angeles. So, like, the hero thing, to be the knight in shining armor, to be the guy that lifts and elevates a franchise. It's been, 43 years now? It's hard to believe 1983 is 43 years ago. I can't believe, I just, those words coming out of my mouth are hard for me to digest.
Well,
but
yeah.
It's been 43 years since the Sixers have won an NBA title.
And he wants to deliver a championship so much for the city of Philadelphia that he's going to live in New York City.
The happiness thing's a joke, by the way.
216-474-0092. I can tell you, I will be booing LeBron when he makes his return.
What?
I will explain why when we come back here. Plus, I want to hear from the fans. I'm sorry. We are just loaded today. We're probably going to have to push things back. We've got Danny Cunningham as well at 7:20. Your chance to win Lake Erie Crushers tickets as well. Many of you feel crushed by the decision of LeBron James not to come back to Cleveland, but you'll have your chance to win Crushers tickets at 8 o'clock. Lima, Daryl in for Ken Carman. He is scribbling together his halfback, fullback dive plays here on Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
When your roof fails. windows, and doors of Cleveland.
This month, take 15% off Pella products or no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months, plus an additional $500 off your project. Call 877-98-PELLA or visit PellaCleveland.com.
This is Browns head coach Todd Monken, and you're listening to the number one sports station in Cleveland, 92.3 The Fan.
All right, we are loaded. No time for dilly-dally.
I was hoping Todd was going to say how jacked up he was in that promo.
You know what? I am jacked up for the Browns. Forget LeBron. LeBron's done. I'm going to boo LeBron. Did say that. We got Danny Cunningham at 720. Would never boo him. I am going to boo LeBron, which sounds crazy because
Why?
I didn't even blame. I did not blame LeBron for this. Like, if
so
anything,
then why are you going to boo him?
Here is why.
That makes no sense.
I will explain it the best way I can. I said I was devastated that they didn't get LeBron. I wanted them to get LeBron.
That's your fault.
Can I ask you one question before you get to why you're going to boo him?
Go ahead.
Who do you blame?
I blame Rich Paul more than anything. And by
who's also a Clevelander, right? He's not. It's not like this is some guy from L.A.
Yes,
that ran an agency, and I mean, he was made by LeBron.
Just because he's a Clevelander doesn't mean he loves Cleveland.
That's not what I'm saying, Daryl.
No, I know. I'm just saying, though, like with Rich.
But the whole point has been, like, if it's homecomings and all that, who wouldn't want the guy to be, if we're truly about homecomings, if you're the hometown guy, why would you not want your guy to be with the team? We've brought up how many clutch clients are there right now with Cleveland Cavaliers?
Zero. And I honestly think this is where I disagreed with Daryl.
I don't think that's a coincidence, by the way.
Well, part of it was they paid Donovan. They paid
so
Donovan.
You're saying Rich Paul hates Cleveland?
And they pay. I don't.
Not what I'm saying at all.
Well, it's what you're insinuating.
That is true.
Listen, I think Rich Paul would be happy to have Cleveland overpay all his clients. He would put Anthony Davis here tomorrow.
Oh, so this is the second apron thing.
If the Cavs would be happy to sign him to a max extension, despite the fact Anthony Davis only plays, a third of the games.
He plays Darius Garland minutes.
Yeah, I think he would have been happy to have Darius here had the Cavs not have paid Donovan Mitchell. Once they paid Donovan Mitchell, the writing was on the wall, and that started the whole process. But don't forget, the Cavs actually gave Darius Garland the extension before they needed to. That rookie max extension, the first day they could offer it to him, they gave it to him, despite the fact on my personal rankings, Darius has never been, I've always used the term, you can see it on social media, he's never been a top 14 point guard in the league. I know he's been an all-star. Yeah, but I thought that made more sense than Darius. I don't think, so they went out of their way to help a clutch client in the past. So I think there's a lot of stuff getting misconstrued here. But why I would boo LeBron when he comes back, here is the one thing I know for a fact. There were people in LeBron's camp that were toying with people in Northeast Ohio. They were. I got the DM. The people that were trafficking in the LeBron news, and they were guaranteeing LeBron's return. They were altering Kalshi and the prediction markets. Part of it was one high school teammate in particular. They were just messing with some people on social media. I've seen the videos. I've seen the DMs.
Yeah.
Like, that hurts. I'm not saying LeBron orchestrated that. Maybe they were just doing it to pass the time and were having fun. Maybe they were doing it to alter the prediction markets, which is kind of a serious thing. Now that real money is on the hook, like $200+ million were bet on this. I know Dan Lebitard went after their manipulation of the prediction markets. I know that Jeff Pearlman went after Pat McAfee for the prediction markets. Like, we do have to have a conversation about this at some point.
Well, they manipulate the stock market.
Well, there is real money that is being... Now, maybe it's on you if you want to put money in this stuff and that's your recreation. Maybe that's on you and not on anybody else for doing it. But I do know people that traffic in this stuff, they feel like they were let down big time because of some of the insider stuff that was going down. But why I will boo, it's a long way to get to why I will boo LeBron, someone who I cherish and the memories and all that stuff. It's simple. This is a game at some point. There are winners and losers. And one of the things that does not go unnoticed and everybody should take inventory of is LeBron's trying to win a championship. He's trying to add to the trophy case. He's trying to win championship number 5.
And he'll try and do it at the expense of the Cavaliers now.
There. Bingo. And once that is understood, when people understand the motivations, LeBron was not going to help the Cavs in any way if he wasn't going to the Cavs. Why? They're in the Eastern Conference. The Cavs could be competing with them. The Cavs were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. He knows that they're not some joke of a basketball team. I know some of you want to act like that right now, but the Cavs are still good and still have potential moves to make with the Jared Allen situation hanging over them. I've been on the phone. The last 3 days, my wife wants to kill me because Bath and Bedtime was upset last night because of some of the phone calls I was making. I even have Jonathan Kuminga intel that we can get to later because their pursuit of Kuminga is still potentially in play.
Why would we wait on that?
Why would, the Cavs?
No, the Kuminga intel.
Oh, you want the Kuminga intel now?
Well, if it's important to Cleveland, I think we ought to.
It is important. Well, he'd be their best athlete tomorrow. He'd be the best wing they've had in years, even though I know people like to rip up and down how bad Kuminga is. No, the Lakers desperately want Jonathan Kuminga. Are the Lakers not trying to contend? Are the Lakers not trying to put really good players around Luka Doncic? The Kuminga works out in Cleveland. His agent, Aaron Turner, in here is Cleveland. I know their whole operation very well. I'm just here to tell you, I think Kuminga can help the Cavs. I do. Does it put him over the hump to win a championship? No, he's 23 years old. He still has a lot of development that needs to be done. I also saw him in a few playoff games last year. Give the Knicks way more a run for their money than anything the Cavs wings gave the Knicks last year. I do think he's got the, quote, dog in him a little bit. He's got a lot of people to prove wrong. He has, in some ways, some people think he has wasted a lot of money in his pursuit, whether it was in Golden State or, with what happened in Atlanta. I just know he helped Golden State in the playoffs at times. People don't understand, to me, how he could fit in Cleveland. I can tell you, I think he could help them. And there are going to be conversations today. I know Kobe Altman is back from his family vacation. Yes, he was vacationing when, I don't know if that was out there, he was vacationing when this news hit. This is a time of the year when a lot of the people around the NBA are vacationing, so it's a little late in the offseason. I know you had your Giannis move immediately. You had your Jaylen Brown move. But people wondered if the Hazonia thing means that's the end of Jonathan Kuminga. No, I don't think it is. But
it shouldn't.
But, it's a little bit delicate because of the Cavs financing situation. There'd have to be a sign and trade. I know that Atlanta would be interested to have Jared Allen.
It needs to be a sign and trade so that Kuminga can make what he wants to make. The Cavaliers could sign him as a free agent.
He's technically an unrestricted free agent. Yeah.
But he's not going to come here for what the Cavaliers would be able to sign him for. Right. And that's also part, not just the Kuminga situation specifically, but it's also part of the reason that James Harden has not signed his extension.
Which is important.
Look, I'm not a big fan of having to watch James Harden the next 3 years, but I'm going to give him his credit. First of all, they don't get to the conference finals without him.
That's a fact.
He's also part of the reason that they didn't advance any further.
But I think a lot of Cavs were the reason they didn't advance any further.
Fair.
Who played? Did anybody play well against the Knicks? Anybody?
Nobody did.
I know Harden's gotten 100% of the blame on the afternoon show. But nobody played well in that series.
But I'm going to give him a tremendous amount of credit. He is sitting back and waiting to sign his extension with the Cavaliers so that Kobe Altman can make the necessary moves this offseason to make it a better basketball team.
Again, that they could not have made if Darius was here because of his contract. The whole point.
Or they could not have made if Harden opted in to that option.
Right.
So Harden is actually facilitating.
Trying to.
Okay, that's fair. He's attempting to facilitate an avenue for Kobe Altman to make this a better basketball team. Now it's on Kobe Altman to make it a better basketball team.
Yes, they've lost right now on the ledger. They have lost Dean Wade, who started playoff games for them, and they lost Keon Ellis. And they haven't.
Here's one for you. Is Kuminga an upgrade from Dean Wade? Because Dean's more of a defensive player. Yeah. Dean is a better Isaac Okoro, right?
I think he is an upgrade.
Well, then
I think he is.
Then guess what? If you can get Kuminga, you've now plus the roster.
They have nobody that can that can ignite a fast break. They have no athleticism on the team. Dean Wade, I loved his size, but he wasn't a freak athlete. Kuminga's a freak athlete. Like, we don't have any of that. We have nobody that can get back on defense when a shot goes up. James Harden would shoot a three, and then nobody could get back on defense in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, Kuminga is a guy that can be smothering. He can do OG Anunoby things. He's not OG, I want to be clear. He's also only 23. Like, he's nowhere near to where he's going to be as a basketball player like 5 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, and he can create some offense. Evan Mobley can't create offense. They have Evan Mobley dribbling the ball up the floor. You have all these ball handlers on this team, and you have Evan Mobley dribbling the ball up the floor.
Yeah, I think people need to understand that the Cavs need to get athletic. I've heard people saying DeMar DeRozan. Like, no, that doesn't help them whatsoever for where they have their weaknesses right now. And you saw it. They're a good regular season team. And they're a decent playoff team. Believe it or not. They're a decent playoff team. But they have no athleticism. And they need to find that in a hurry. And I think Kuminga is a guy that can certainly help them. 216-474-0092. We have taken up all the oxygen in the first hour of the show. I swear I want to hear from you, the fans. 216-474-0092. Who's to blame for LeBron James not a Cleveland Cavalier? That's next with Stanley Cunningham coming up in just about 25 minutes here on Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
This is an Odyssey Sports.
University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
All the hits, grunts, strains, and sprains. Training camp coverage like nobody else. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. 92.3 The Fan.
Thank you for dragging that out of me. Owen got my Kuminga intel.
So when's he signing?
No, I don't. Listen, I know the Lakers are in hot pursuit.
Come on, Lima, get it done. Because you know what? If it doesn't happen, I'm blaming you.
But here's the thing. If their big signings are Mario Hezonja and Jonathan Kuminga, people are going to go nuts about what a horrendous offseason it was. This was always going to be very challenging. I still think there are moves to be made.
Well, Kuminga is a plus to the roster.
Yes.
If you get him.
Yes, they had nobody like him.
That is a roster improvement.
They had nobody like him, and I think that's important. People are going to take the negative like, well, the Warriors didn't want him. He wasn't on the Warriors timeline. That was the problem.
Right.
Remember the 2 timeline thing?
Yeah.
And
well, yeah, that was like the Browns and Myles Garrett. They weren't on the same timeline. It's the same thing.
Well, yeah, they could have been if they had a really good quarterback, but
they don't.
Unfortunately. 216-474-0092. Danny Cunningham coming up in less than 20 minutes. Daryl is in. I want to hear from fans now about who you blame and how you're feeling about LeBron. I said I would boo him on opening night, that he comes back here. I am curious to see the schedule makers. Also, we do know we're going to see him early in the season. And the reason I know that is because we have the vaunted cup.
Oh, of course.
The vaunted cup.
Do it again. Say it one more time.
We have, ladies and gentlemen, the vaunted in-season United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, you're close.
Vaunted cup.
Had to get to the page.
And, ladies and gentlemen, we have pool play.
Cavs got the worst draw of anyone.
Or the best. The Knicks. The Heat. The Pacers. And ladies and gentlemen, the Philadelphia 76ers.
Do they even win a game?
That's why they call it the Cup. And they call it the pool play.
Daryl, when it's cup time, you never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to step up and become the next Arab Emirates NBA Cup star.
See, he hit the post. I failed to. He actually hit it.
Well, I know where the post is.
It's kind of cheating. That's not really fair.
I make the post.
Are you not pumped for LeBron James coming at you? You know for a fact.
Of the things I care about.
They have LeBron coming here for cup action.
Of the things that I care about in life, the NBA Cup doesn't even register. Although.
Why? The Knicks.
Although, congratulations to the New York Knicks.
NBA Cup or the World Cup, Daryl?
What?
NBA Cup or the World Cup? Which one do you care about more?
Neither.
I mean, you're hosting a sports talk show. And
other than rooting for...
well, now you're going to do it. Power rank your cups, Daryl.
Let's go.
Number 3, the NBA Cup.
Okay.
Number 2, the World Cup. And numero uno, no surprise to anybody, Lord Stanley's Cup.
Oh.
I'll add number 4, protective athletic cups.
I thought you were going to say Reese's.
Reese's Cup is big in the Lima household. We don't do a lot of treats, but that's one of them. Just a little guy, not the big ones. We don't traffic in the big ones.
The minis?
We just have the minis.
The ingredients aren't the same anymore.
That's too much foil work for the size of
not worth
Reese's Cup that I'm getting.
Wow. Not worth all the effort. Interesting. But that's it. I'm glad to hear the breakdown. I want to hear from the fans. Let's go. They've been waiting. Let's go to Thomas in Shaker. Who do you blame for LeBron James, a 76er? Go ahead, Thomas.
Who I blame Kobe Altman. First of all, let me say this. I'm always happy to talk basketball with you, Mr. Anthony Lima. I think that you're one of the best basketball minds in the city. I love talking basketball with you. Hi, Daryl. You're awesome, too. But I blame Kobe Altman because Kobe Altman has not made this team a Tyson team, and he made mistakes with trades for the last 2 years. And keep in mind, it's the same guy who traded Kyrie Irving, for Isaiah Thomas. He's the same guy. I don't blame him for trading Darius Garland. I think he waited too long to trade Darius Garland. He should have traded Darius Garland a year earlier. That was a problem.
I agree.
I blame him for trading our team when we were in the middle of a win streak 2 years ago for DeAndre Hunter, who didn't want to be here. And you can ask about chemistry issues. So if I'm you want to put a power ranking. The thing is that Dan Gilbert got to be upset with Kobe Altman. He got to be looking at him. He got to be questioning him because he failed to make moves to make this team better. He failed to make moves to get this team in the places they need to be at. And I'm just really frustrated with Kobe Altman. I'm just questioning his leadership and his ability to get us over the hump.
All right. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate it. Listen, it's see if you can get rid of him. The season. I want people to be clear here. The offseason is not over. Right? It kind of, in many ways, is just beginning for the Cavs.
Should I also
because it was on hold for LeBron.
That was the one thing I noticed on Friday was, okay, now here's all the free agents, right? And it's one of those Instagram slide things, and it had 15 pictures of different guys that are out there in free agency, and James Harden was one of them.
He is. He's technically a free agent. Kuminga is a free agent. But free agency is... For what we understand,
what would you do if James Harden signed elsewhere?
It doesn't exist.
It's not going to happen. But what would your reaction be if James Harden went and signed elsewhere?
Well, they just get worse. Like that's the thing I don't understand. I saw people advocating like, oh, he just did you a favor, opting out of the contract, and then he can go elsewhere. Like then you're just worse. You're worse at basketball. Like James Harden. First of all. The regular season games, the 26 games that he played in the regular season, he was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, he was a top 20 player in the NBA.
Didn't the Cavs win like 6 or 7 in a row after that trade?
They were awesome with him, and they weren't healthy. Like, remember, Evan was in and out of the lineup. Donovan was in and out. Like, he's still an unbelievable regular season player. As far as the playoffs go, he was up and down. Like, he was a total roller coaster. His bad games were some of the worst games you would ever see. But he also helped them win.
Yes.
He was also vital. And the fact that I honestly think they relied on him too much. That's how questionable their roster construction is for the playoffs, that they were relying on him. And in some of the games, he was their best player.
He helped them win 2 playoff series, but he was also part of the reason why they needed 7 games to win those playoff series.
100% true. I saw people, over the weekend, like, talking about Evan Mobley, because I know a lot has been thrown Evan Mobley's way in terms of criticism because they did not trade him for Giannis. Now, I have conflicting info on the pursuit of Giannis on that, but they were not willing to trade him for Jaylen Brown.
Well, that is a fact. Here's what we learned this offseason, because we've learned something throughout this offseason, okay? And that is the Cavaliers' undying devotion to Evan Mobley and their undying belief in Evan Mobley. And now it's on Evan Mobley to validate that. Because
there's big time pressure on him, I think, for the first time.
Yeah, because they were not willing to trade you for Giannis. They were not willing to trade you for Jaylen Brown. Okay?
Yeah, the Giannis thing. But anyway, go ahead. Jaylen Brown, 100%. Yes.
But I'm just saying. Is Giannis here? No. So
I think some of that is Giannis, but whatever.
I get it. But the bottom line, though, is like they committed to you, not just financially, but they had opportunities to move off of you, and they ultimately did not do that. So, yeah, there's a lot on Evan Mobley's plate this season to validate that belief.
Daryl, you can't even begin to understand what a big season it is for somebody like Evan, who's already been Defensive Player of the Year. And I thought at times during the playoffs.
And I'm not talking about box score, okay? I'm not talking about averaging 20 and 10. This goes beyond box score. He needs to be in the MVP conversation. Like, that's the elevation. When you talk about Evan
it seems like he is so far from that, though.
I understand that. But when you're talking about him elevating his game and things like that, can we be honest about the Defensive Player of the Year thing? If Wemby does not get hurt, he doesn't sniff that award.
Yeah, he's nowhere near the defensive player that nobody is, that Wemby is.
He's great. He's a great defensive player. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But the reality is, like, there's Wemby and then there's the rest of the league, right? So he's not in that category. But he needs to be, for him to validate this decision by the Cavalier front office. He needs to play at an MVP contention conversation level. He needs to be in that conversation. I'm not saying he's got to go out and win the MVP, but I don't know, can you finish in the top 5 in voting? You see what I'm saying?
He will not be able to be there until you can get the ball to Evan Mobley in big moments and say, go get me a bucket.
And you know what I think?
He has not even been close to sniffing that.
I think moving Jared Allen might help that, too.
I think so, too. And I do think Jared Allen is still going to get moved. Deshaun in Cleveland. What's up, man?
Yes, man, listen. I want to blame Sashi Altman, but we can't blame him because of the simple reason LeBron is chasing Jordan. He's not chasing championships. So, like, the Knicks thing was...
Oh, we lost. We lost him.
To get in the Jordan conversation, other than if he goes to the Knicks, reach their 50-year drought. Wow, there it is. Rich Paul told us where LeBron was going before the whiteboard was even up. When he said he was going to the Knicks, everybody should have knew then, well, he's chasing Jordan. So the very next team, drought-wise, which you said it earlier, which was, 43 years, which would be Philly. The Cavs championship wouldn't do anything for him. Obviously, Miami and Golden State. It was Philly. It was like we should have knew it was Philly. And guess what? I think Gansey knew it was Philly before the first. That's why he went and got Jaylen Brown.
It's hilarious. Deshaun, thanks for the call, man. I think there's a lot of truth to what he's saying.
Yeah.
Ken can attest. We were playing a round of golf about 3 weeks ago. The Jaylen Brown thing had already been done. We were playing a round of golf. We saw somebody at the turn. Somebody that absolutely knows very well Mike Gansey. And he had a few drinks. And he's like, yeah, the LeBron to Philly stuff is not happening. I know for a fact. It's like, I talked to Mike. It's not happening. It's dead. And so here I am, and he's somebody that would know.
Well, we had former high school teammates of LeBron saying he was coming home. We had the cupcake person saying he's coming home. We had a bunch of people saying he's coming home.
We were all
we heard rumors of trying to procure cars in Akron.
And listen, you're right. And maybe Gansey at that point didn't think they were getting LeBron. In the end, it's LeBron. He gets to make these decisions. When we come back, we made the decision to have on Danny Cunningham. Where do the Cavs go from here? Where do the Cavs, who went to the Eastern Conference Finals, go from here? Is it all over? Is the window over? Should Kobe Altman be tarred and feathered? To talk about it and so much more. Danny Cunningham next on Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. I was getting excited because Ryan Young and the Young team, they have Young Luxury.
that aren't his to make. And now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
All right. I think I speak for everybody when I say I thought LeBron was coming home. Daryl?
I was sold. I should have known better. Shame on me.
Owen?
Oh, yeah, I was 100% in all the time.
We have Ace and Gary in the back. I think they thought LeBron was coming home. Danny Cunningham, who follows the Cavs on their Eastern Conference Finals journey last year, home and away. He had all sorts of intel. I've been talking to Danny behind the scenes. Danny, didn't you think LeBron was coming back?
Sure did. And basically everybody that I talked to across the league also felt as such.
Well, Danny joins us on the Wise Heart Right. We make it right. Call Kyle Wright hotline. Who do we blame? Danny, who do we blame?
I think that you have to blame the Cavs for the most part. Now, I think that it's not 100% on the Cavs, but I think if you look at the way that this played out, and everybody was surprised, shocked even, that it was Philadelphia. I know I certainly was stunned. I thought it would be Cleveland, and if it wasn't Cleveland, I thought it would be Miami. But let's think about the way that this was reported about by ESPN for most of this, because I think it's fair to say that Shams is the guy that's been the most plugged in. And the entire time it was the focus has been on Cleveland or Miami or Philadelphia. Well, Cleveland obviously had the hometown attraction where LeBron had spent most of his career, his greatest moments, all those things. And Miami and Philly both had that they made significant upgrades to the roster this summer. Miami added Giannis Antetokounmpo. Philly added, obviously, Jaylen Brown. Those were two teams that were more attractive because of what they did from a roster standpoint. And the fact that the Cavs were a quote-unquote finalist, or at least a team that the focus was on, without making that sort of move, it makes me wonder, was this a situation where if the Cavs would have made a similar move, like adding a Jaylen Brown or adding Giannis, would LeBron be in Cleveland? I tend to think yes. Like, it tells me that that's something that could have been wanted, but the Cavs needed to meet halfway, and that's not something they did because they didn't make their first outside addition aside from Malik Thomas to the roster until yesterday at 4:30 when they added Mario Hezonja. So it makes me feel as if the Cavs would have done something to improve this roster, that LeBron might be on it too.
Danny, let's separate fact from fiction here. There's been, in the last couple of days, from the likes of Shams, Windy, Scoop B, talking specifically about the Cavaliers situation. And I know you said you can blame the Cavs because they didn't do enough this offseason in advance to entice LeBron to pick them. You have some using sourced reporting from LeBron's camp that the Darius Garland trade, Darius not being here, that was a negative, or James Harden being here, a bit of a negative. Donovan Mitchell, he wasn't moved, that being a negative. What's fact, what's fiction as far as what you've been able to gather about the thought process or the perception of the moves that the Cavaliers did make in advance of LeBron making his decision?
The Darius Garland stuff to me really sticks out because Darius Garland is represented by Rich Paul and Clutch. Like, that is something that I look at and say, yeah, of course LeBron's camp is going to talk up the guy that they also represent. So, like, I look at that and I hear it and, like, hey, I get it. Darius Garland, when he's fully healthy, is a nice player and a guy that guys would want to play with, certainly during the regular season, because Shoney can be an awesome player in the regular season. The postseason, unfortunately for Darius and the Cavs at times, has been a different story. So I don't dismiss it entirely, but I look at it as something that, you know, what agency wouldn't do that? Because you think back to the Rich Paul whiteboard thing, he brings up Tyrese Maxey, and obviously LeBron landed in Philly, so I'm sure Maxey had something to do with it. But who represents Tyrese Maxey? It's Rich Paul in Clutch Sports. So I think that you have to kind of connect some of those dots and read into that because, yeah, I'm sure Clutch would have liked to have Darius in Cleveland. But also, Rich came out and said earlier that he told Darius before the season this was going to be his last year in Cleveland anyways. So I don't necessarily know how much to read into that stuff. As far as the Donovan Mitchell not being traded thing, I don't necessarily buy that. I think that's one that the Cavs would have been a much worse team. Like, there's not a team in basketball that would have picked Darius Garland over Donovan Mitchell. Like, nobody would have done that. Donovan, can he be the best player in a championship team? I'm not so sure of that, but I know that he's been a top 10 player in basketball in at least 3 of the last 4 seasons that he's been in Cleveland. So, like, I think that wanting to move on from Donovan Mitchell to land LeBron James at this age, like, I think that would have been some things that would have been worth moving on from in order to land LeBron James. Donovan Mitchell is not one of those things.
Danny Cunningham joining us right now with this Cavs speculation looming. I mean, I talked to Jonathan Kuminga earlier in the show because obviously now they have to have their offseason. They put their entire plans at least on hold until a LeBron decision. I know it's been one thing to say, well, they put all their eggs in the LeBron basket. Well, they can simply shift their eggs now. And what I mean by that is Jared Allen, could they be moving him like now by the deadline? Like, what do you think is next for the Cavaliers as they try to construct a roster that can go further than they did last year?
I think they need to be players in the trade market. And I look at a situation like the one that Denver is in right now, and I'm curious if the Cavs can take advantage of that. So late last night, the Denver Nuggets matched an offer sheet for Spencer Jones. It's a 2-year, $12 million deal that they matched. Oklahoma City gave him on, I believe it was Friday. Now, why does that matter to Cleveland? Why would Spencer Jones matter to Cleveland? Well, because the Denver Nuggets, as of right now, are the only second apron team in basketball. And the Denver Nuggets are not thought of as a team that spends a lot of money. It would be surprising to me if the Denver Nuggets finished the year in the second apron. They're going to, I think, at some point, try and find a way to cut salary. Could the Cavs get in on that and take advantage of maybe landing a player that Denver would like to have in an ideal world, but doesn't necessarily want to pay? Could they land somebody like Cam Johnson, who I think could make a lot of sense in Cleveland? He makes $23 million a year. Can the Cavs find a way to send a cheaper piece to Denver to help them with their financial issues, and in exchange get a player that might fit what the Cavs need? I think that should be something that they try and pursue. And then as far as the trade market goes, it always feels as if there is a trade that happens in late August, early September that not everybody sees coming. The Cavs were part of it a few years ago. They landed Donovan Mitchell on September 1st. The New York Knicks a couple of years ago, they landed Karl Anthony Towns in, I believe, the middle of September. It was like a week before training camp opened. So there are these moves that tend to happen, maybe not every year, but at least every other year, that catch people off guard. There's going to be, I think, a big trade that happens between now and training camp. I have no idea what it's going to be. I have no idea who's going to go somewhere, but I think we're going to see something like that. Can the Cavs be involved there? I think it makes sense for them to at least try. Kobe Altman has shown a willingness in the past to do that, and it could make a lot of sense right now because I do think, guys, that they needed to, this offseason, they needed to improve. And the team is worse right now than when the season ended. And I think it's unfair to say no matter what, this is a disaster, but it's been a disaster so far. The Cavs have time to turn that around. Like, they can still get better, but I still think that's exactly what they need to do.
All right, Danny, as a follow-up, I brought up the potential pursuit of Jonathan Kuminga earlier in the show. I talked about his athleticism that they so desperately need, but it's been kind of a rocky career. He has had some playoff moments on 2 different teams over the last few years. He works out in Cleveland. His agent and representation is based out of Cleveland. Do you think it makes sense for this Cavs team?
I think it makes a little bit more sense than I would have thought a week and a half ago. And I think that the Cavs have and I also think, too, like, this is obviously dependent on how much money Jonathan Kuminga would be making and what type of role Jonathan Kuminga would be willing to accept. I think having Kuminga come off the bench as somebody who can be this microwave scorer, and I think the Cavs need to become more athletic, and Jonathan Kuminga unquestionably would check that box off. But the Cavs also don't have a ton of bench scoring, and I think that is a bit of an issue. So they were 25th in bench points per game last season, which is not the end of the world. Like, the New York Knicks were 28th. However, the Knicks play their starters much more than the Cavs play their starters. So when you don't play your starters super heavy minutes during the regular season, which I think is the right way to go about things, you need to have somebody that can come off the bench that can fill it up at times. And that's part of the reason why the Cavs won 64 games 2 years ago, is because Ty Jerome had this awesome season off the bench that nobody saw coming, that he could just put the ball in the basket over and over again. When they traded for DeAndre Hunter and he was awesome the second half of the year coming off the bench, it's like when their second unit was out there, they were still better than teams. And that was not the case this past year. Like, for instance, the Cavs had one of the worst net ratings in the second quarter of any team in basketball. They needed to find a way to get better off the bench. And if that's a role that Jonathan Kuminga is willing to accept, dependent on what the price is, I do think that is something the Cavs should at least be interested in. I don't know how much interest they've exactly had in Kuminga so far, and I'm curious if that's going to change now that we know the LeBron situation is settled.
Danny, we've talked about moves maybe that the Cavaliers did not make, right? Evan Mobley for Jaylen Brown, Evan Mobley for Giannis. Obviously, Giannis is in Miami. Brown now is in Philadelphia. How much pressure is there now on Evan to validate the belief that the organization has shown in him and the commitment that the organization has shown by not being willing to trade him for another big name player?
I think there's a lot of pressure because Evan Mobley is a guy on a 30% max contract. Like, that is a big deal in today's financial landscape of the NBA, where you have to, when you're on the type of contract Evan Mobley is on, you have to perform. And Evan Mobley has been, I think, a really, really good player. It's fair to say throughout his career, but I think he's kind of always left, maybe not always, because I think the year the Cavs won 64 games, he met expectations. But last year, I think it's fair to say he left people wanting more. And he needs to have a much better year this upcoming season. He needs to be a better guy in the postseason. I didn't think he was bad in the postseason, but I think he needs to be a better guy in the postseason moving forward. And it's always going to be, and this is maybe a little unfair to Evan because he didn't decide this, but it's always going to be, if the Cavs traded him, could they have Giannis? Like, if Evan Mobley was available, is Giannis in Cleveland right now? I think that the Milwaukee Bucks would have rather have had Evan Mobley than what they got from Miami. If Evan Mobley was available, do the Cavs have Jaylen Brown? I know that Boston would have rather have had Evan Mobley than Paul George in the draft picks that they got. This is something where, there's pressure on Evan, and how much of that can he live up to? We're going to have to wait and see. But when you're making as much money as Evan Mobley's making, you need to be a max-level player. Last year, whether it's because of injuries, whether it was just because the role wasn't right for him, I don't know that Evan met that mark every single night, but the Cavs need him to be better moving forward, and without question.
Danny, I said earlier in the show, I'd be booing LeBron James when he comes back to Cleveland, not because I don't appreciate the championship or anything like that, but it's a cutthroat business now. The Eastern Conference is very much potentially up for grabs. They'll be jockeying for position with teams like Philadelphia. Do you think the schedule makers will be bringing LeBron back for pool play in the vaunted Cup? Danny, the Cup is at stake here.
I'll tell you what, Group B is the toughest one I've seen, maybe in the history of the NBA Cup.
The Group of Death, they are calling it.
The Group of Death. I don't even know, honestly. I'm not sure that term is strong enough. I don't know if Group of Death is strong enough for how tough this is. And honestly...
The music's playing, Danny.
It is. It's great music, too. I think that the Cavs... And the schedule's going to come out probably around 3 weeks. Typically, it's around the middle of
3 weeks? What the hell? We've got to schedule our Cup games... The ticket market for the LeBron games.
Adam Silver said LeBron was holding up the schedule.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? LeBron's in Philadelphia. Get the schedule done now. Where's my schedule, Danny?
The schedule will be to you in the middle of August, as it always is. It will be to you in due time. And I do wonder when Philly's going to come to Cleveland. I don't think that's going to be a game that gets highlighted as far as one of the premium days of the season. It's not going to be opening night. It's not going to be Christmas. But I think that probably will be a nationally televised game, and I think it should be. I'm curious the reception LeBron gets in Cleveland because it has been very warm and fuzzy each of the last 8 years that he's been back in Cleveland, or at least when people have been in the stands when he's been back in Cleveland. It's been very warm and fuzzy, and I don't know if it's going to be the case anymore. Like, I'm not saying that LeBron should get booed, certainly, because, again, I think if you want to blame somebody for LeBron not being on the Cavs, I'm not sure LeBron is at the top of that list. But I also think that when LeBron's on the Lakers, and it felt like, okay, this guy's coming home, and you can always think about the good times, but now that he's on an Eastern Conference rival again and pick that team over you if you're the Cavs,
yes,
I don't know that those same exact warm and fuzzy feelings are there right now. It's not to say they won't be there in a couple of years when LeBron is done playing, but right now I'm not sure that they are.
And does Gansey get a video tribute? I mean, we'll do a whole week of shows.
What about that? What about Dean Wade?
And Dean Wade. Yes, we can't do that.
I would bet Dean Wade gets a video tribute.
No, we can't. Turncoat.
I would bet he does. I would bet he does. I bet Dean Wade gets a video tribute.
They're going to need like 8 TV screens outside the visitor locker room for their welcome home posters that they do.
This is.
They might, man. You're not wrong about that.
All right, Danny. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, guys.
All right, there he is. Danny Cunningham on the Wise Heart Right. We Make It Right. Call Kyle Wright hotline. We have things to react to there. Also, Lima likes the Guardians in a state of disarray. But on the other side of it, something really cool happened for somebody that is at all those Guardians games. That is Lima likes when we come back here on Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Cleveland traffic.
Whenever Browns news happens between now and training camp,
Here we go. Buckle them up.
trust Darrow Ryder, 923thefan.com, and the Odyssey app.
Does Lima like? Or does Lima no like? Like?
Tell me likey. I'm liking it. I like it a lot.
No like.
He doesn't like you.
I don't like you either.
You're tacky and I hate you.
Like or no like. No like or no like.
But I definitely knew what I liked, and I definitely knew what I didn't like.
Holy cow, what has happened to our once proud Cleveland Guardians? Remember when we were going into the All-Star break and Ken said, and this is a champion's post, oh, it's the worst time for them to go to the break. And I rolled my eyes. I'm like, you think that matters? Like, there's momentum is a real thing when it comes to a baseball season. And
Lima no likes.
I hate when Ken gets it right. I got to give him credit. That did come at a bad time. They are riding their worst losing streak of the season. They have now lost 5 in a row. And an all-time hard luck loss for Parker Messick, who was incredible yesterday. What did he give up? Just 6 hits, 1 earned run, and struck out 6. Didn't even walk a batter, went 7 2/3. The hard luck loser, as the offense was absolutely pitiful. One stinking hit. That's all they could muster yesterday, and it was a leadoff hit from Quan, and then it was all downhill from there, Daryl. And it's been all downhill over the last 5 games.
We spent over a month talking about how they just needed to tread water until they got Jose Ramirez back. And then all would be right with the world. Well, Jose's back, and things have gone down the drain. I can't remember the last time they lost 5 games in a row.
It is weird. That's
it doesn't happen often. They're not a team, and I'm just talking from like a historical perspective. Like, to the Guardians' credit, they don't lose 5 in a row all that often. So when they do, it makes headlines. And it's not just Parker Messick suffering tough luck losses. Gavin Williams, it's they're getting.
Did we score 3 runs in the series?
I mean, it's man,
like that's as bad as it gets.
It's brutal.
And it's one thing when you lose to the Yankees, the Dodgers, because we just
discount
do the
Rays.
thing.
Don't discount the Rays. They're a very good baseball team.
This is my point, is that we often think, when we think about the Rays, we often think same approach, right? Like how we have to do things over time. We have lost something like, watching a broadcast yesterday, 17 of 24 at the Trop. And then they busted out the Devil Rays unis.
The House of Horrors for the Cleveland Guardians.
It is rough.
Who knew the Trop had that kind of effect?
The mystique. There were a ton of Guardians fans there, as there always are, too. Owen, I'm not sure how closely you were monitoring over the weekend, but
I was biting my nails off, tooth and nail.
But you know what I'm saying about the Rays. Like, we consider them.
And the problem with the Rays is you are the mirror image of them, right?
Yeah.
Like Kevin Cash came from our bullpen coach to, he's been their manager for 11, 12 years now. It's been a long time.
Man,
I do miss the Tito Kevin Cash scoreboard wars when they would visit each other's respective ballparks. That was fun.
Yeah. So this one hurt, and the Rays right now are in first place in the AL East, and we have slipped. We're 2.5 games back in the division. If the season were to end now, we'd still be in the playoffs. Because of the just, it seems like everybody gets in now.
Yeah.
So it
doesn't mean as much as it used to.
No, certainly. But we kind of just I assumed, they'll be a playoff team. How sure are you today that they're going to be a playoff team? Especially if Jose is 100 points beneath his
I think they're
OPS.
still going to be a playoff team. They're probably going to be a disappointing playoff team, but if it was that, if they get no better than where they are right now, I think they're still probably squeaking in, right? And then you go, well, we have no shot at anything. And in actuality, do they ever really have a shot? No, but they only let 6 teams in per side, and you get that chance.
It's the old Mark Shapiro philosophy: just get in the tournament, and anything can happen.
Yeah, this is particularly brutal. And then, even worse news, their second-round draft pick, Logan Schmidt. Hey, nice knowing you. He didn't sign. He's just not going to be on the team.
I think that is a very bad career move on his part because the Guardians develop pitching very, very well.
Weird. Just totally bizarre.
Yeah.
I
read that he posted on Instagram after consulting with family and friends, I've decided not to sign with the Cleveland Guardians. Again, I think that's a very bad move because this organization does a tremendous job working with young pitchers.
Well, he said, I have a great deal of respect for the organization.
Then why aren't you signing?
That is the opposite. That is the antithesis of a lot of respect for the organization. He clearly did not. Is this one as damaging as LeBron James not coming back to Cleveland? This is crazy. I do know this happens in baseball from time to time.
Yeah, but it was second-round pick, right?
Yeah.
That's a kick to the pills.
I would love to be a fly on the wall to hear what they are saying about that. As I'm sure they clearly did not see that coming, or they would not have drafted.
I had to read that a few times yesterday to make sure my eyes were telling me what they were telling me.
Right, to make sure it was even legitimate. But how about some good news for the Guardians? Finally, as somebody who has been through the bad times, been through the good times, somebody that has covered it all, Hoynesy, who's been on the show, a friend of the show, friend of the station, he was honored with the Baseball Writers Association of America's 2026 Career Excellence Award, and he even got to give a speech in Cooperstown. Here is Hoynesy over the weekend.
This would be the greatest job in the world if you didn't have to do one thing, right. Imagine traveling around the country on someone else's dime, going to ball games every day, and then going out for dinner and drinks afterward. What could be better? Unfortunately, you have to write. And if you're going to write about baseball, you're going to be writing on deadline every day, all the time.
That's hilarious.
Great line. Vintage Hoynesy.
Yeah.
Good for him. Congratulations. How about that? Sheldon Knocker, Akron Beacon Journal, is also in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but back-to-back years, a Hall of Fame scribe from Cleveland, Ohio, Mary Kay Cabot.
Yes,
last year
the
went
Bill
to the
Nunn Award.
Bill Nunn Award in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and now, hey, Hoynesy! He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Good for him. Now we need a hot call from him. That's what we need.
You're taking people behind the scenes.
Oh, dude, I remember the first time. This is back in 1990.
Tell them what it is. Yeah.
Back in 1998, I'm sitting in the press box, and I just hear this. I don't even know how to describe it. This yelling, screaming, yelping, whatever. And it's Hoynesy doing the hot call. And what it was is he would randomly do this during a game. And you didn't know when he was going to do it, what half inning he was going to do this. And there may or may not have been some wagers involved when this would take place, friendly wagers, like, bet you a potato chip it's going to be in the bottom of the second or top of the fourth.
This was before Kalshi, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Predates. But now I think you can wager on this.
Yeah, well, Hoynesy doesn't do it much anymore, but
well, he's retired that.
Yeah, he's retired that, but I do think we're going to need a hot call from Hey Hoynesy again at some point here. But congratulations. He's not only a tremendous writer, he's equally a tremendous human being.
It is terrific. Congratulations to him. One final note.
Limonal likes.
What is going on behind the scenes with the Cleveland Browns and this quarterback competition? Why is Jerry Jeudy having to try to put out a fire and issue a statement on social media that is, quote, I don't speak on decisions that aren't mine to make. I support my teammates and brothers. I do my job and control what I can control. Let's stop creating a narrative that aren't there for likes and clicks. I bet this won't go viral because it's too positive and real for y'all. What is he referring to? Stay tuned. It's camp week. The Cleveland Browns are back, and we have potential infighting or a war with the media and the fans. I love it. Ken Carman is not here, but we can talk about it next on Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Listen on the Odyssey app. Headline Sports News every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
All the hits, grunts, strains, and sprains. Training camp coverage like nobody else. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. 92.3 The Fan.
All right, looking for a winner. Enter the code word PITCH, P-I-T-C-H, 923thefan.com before 9 a.m. Your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to 92.3 The Fan Night with the Lake Erie Crushers Friday, August 7th at Forefront Field in Avon. Ken and I will be there, along with Nick Wilson, taking over all the in-game fun, including the first pitch at 7 p.m. Get tickets at lecrushers.com. All brought to you by the Crushers and Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. Wait, does this mean... Is Ken throwing out the first pitch? Is Nick? Not me.
Well, if you guys do a Guardians game, all of you would throw out the first pitch. They have a parade of first pitches.
Oh.
The Guardians lead the world.
Oh, is
in
that right?
Ceremonial first pitches.
Did anybody see Kerry Wood throw during the
banana
ball game over the weekend at
Him
Wrigley
and
Field?
Henry Rowan Gardner both threw.
Oh, stop. Is that right?
I'm not playing.
Rosenberger.
So I know we got some Brown stuff to talk about, and we'll get back to LeBron. People were incensed about banana ball at Wrigley. They thought it was sacrilegious.
Yeah.
Were they playing the party animals?
The firefighters. It was a big deal.
Wow.
Firefighters. Party animals were too busy. Probably still recovering.
I feel like it's a late night. They're on a never-ending bender. And I saw Kerry Wood do one of those, I haven't seen this in a long time, where he goes through the old school, old-timey wind-up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he throws it behind his back and over his head, and then still comes through.
Right.
I mean, it was a sight to behold.
It's right down the middle.
And it was a strike. They didn't even need ABS. I mean, banana ball. Is there anything better?
I love banana ball. It's
Ken,
fun.
Ken does not. I can tell you that.
Ken's the fun police on that.
Well, just wait until 2027 when you want to see some baseball. It's going to be banana ball.
It is during the stoppage. You imagine? It's going to be a harder ticket than the Masters.
It already is, because I tried getting tickets when they came to Cleveland, and I couldn't get in.
I signed up for it, and then I got 5 emails the day before and the day of. They were like, "Hey, we just got some more tickets in. If you want to get in, you want to go with your family and get in."
But you had to do the lottery again, right?
No, I was already through the lottery.
Oh, you
process.
got in.
So I did not get in the lottery, and then the day before,
okay,
we got a bunch of these tickets. If you want to come get these tickets.
Well,
where'd you end up sitting?
I wound up not going because I wasn't going to spend that amount of money.
Yeah, it's
a
not
day
cheap.
before. Had I won the lottery, would have spent the money.
You would have had,
because I would have known months and ahead of time that, hey, we're going to drop a couple hundred here.
3 easy payments, and you can do it. You could be a banana ball.
All of my tickets through Home Shopping Network.
I have to say,
get it on FlexPay.
What they do is harder than Major League Baseball.
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go.
With the stunts.
Folks, forget about LeBron. Forget about Jerry Jeudy Gate. Are you listening to what Daryl's saying right now?
Some of the stunts they do with the baseballs.
A lot of gyrations.
He's trying to tell me
pretty
throwing
hard
off
to do.
stilts is harder than throwing a 100-mile-an-hour splitter.
It's not easy.
I don't believe you.
It's not easy.
I don't
to do
believe
what they
that you believe what you're saying right now.
I mean, I watched the game.
It just struck me. You know who Owen reminds me of? He reminds me of the dancing umpire in Banana Ball.
I was just going to talk about the dancing umpire.
Finally.
I met him last summer.
Okay, how does that man, how is he able to go through the rigors of banana ball training to get ready to be certified, to learn all the rules of banana ball, and then have time to choreograph dances with random members of the banana ball team? It's amazing.
Owen could do that. He totally could do that.
You do the splits? You got to do the splits.
If you can't do the banana split.
If you can't do the banana split, Owen, well done. Unbelievable. That was quick. You have no room. They have no room for you in banana ball.
I'd like to split from this conversation.
And we will, because, folks, it's training camp week. We have Daryl Ryder in studio. And Daryl, you are excited it's the 1 week of year to be optimistic.
Before Daryl talks, I want to remind everyone that he's, of course, brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
And this is the time for optimism. We can talk about all the great draft picks that Andrew Berry has made over the last 2 years. The fact that we have some legit, at least on paper, wide receivers in camp. There are going to be some great competitions. And then what happened? What happened with Jerry Jeudy and Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders and the fans? Now, I will admit, I am aging out of some of these conversations. I am now too old to monitor the social media and the live streaming. And so I can't be bothered to monitor every player on the Cavs, Guardians, and Browns. I just don't. I have kids now. Before that, and before the marriage, and before the owning of a house, I had time to devote to all this stuff. I no longer do. I can't keep up with you kids. I can't keep up with the vocabulary. You
better keep up with the vocabulary if you got kids.
The mogging and the maxing. I'm officially too old.
You're chopped.
I'm chopped. I'm washed.
So
it's over.
Well, we've got to at least get someone that's on that age group level.
We do need. This is where Ace and Gary come in.
We need to send Lima to the glue factory.
I know. It's very sad. It is a very sad state of affairs. But at least you got to have awareness, right?
Have you put out the signal to anyone young enough to be able to find all that?
So young John, who I believe is getting close to passing his probationary period with us. He did great work at the All-Star weekend. He's close. He got out to Philly, covered All-Star weekend. So, we've had boots on the ground. He's going to be at training camp this week getting his Cleveland Browns indoctrination. But over the weekend...
You mean I have to babysit this week?
Yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. He's going to carry all your cables and your wires and your cameras and
Don't
your
worry.
equipment.
You're Unc to him. So
we're going to talk about that too. Owen got called Unc by his kids. He should be called Dad, but somehow got called Unc. That's neither here nor there. John, I put you to the task over the weekend to figure out what in the hell this even came from, what it is. Was there editing? Is it legitimate? Did Jerry Jeudy indeed sign off on one quarterback over the other? Because this was met with a ton of controversy in Browns fandom over the weekend.
Yeah, it blew up on social media yesterday.
John, what have you found?
So here are the facts. Jerry Jeudy went live on TikTok, and somebody asked him, who do you want to start a quarterback? In the clip on social media, you can clearly see a jump cut. This was edited, and in the jump cut flashes to Jerry Jeudy flashing a 4. Now, there are two ways to interpret this. Number one, the more fun way, where Jerry Jeudy is saying he wants Deshaun Watson to start a quarterback. Now, granted, something that young people do, and I don't know how young Jerry Jeudy is. He's not a younger player in the NFL, but he's still in his 20s. Sometimes young people will flash the number 4, especially when they're taking pictures for social media. So that could have been what Jerry Jeudy was doing, but I choose to believe that he was saying Deshaun Watson should start. Now, you guys mentioned he did actually come out on Twitter and say, you guys are making this up, you whatever. Like, this isn't true. This is your narrative. This is edited. It was edited. I think Jerry Jeudy wants Deshaun Watson to start, but I also think that he could be doing this for attention. Think about it, right? Of the Browns wide receivers, Jerry Jeudy was probably the 4th most talked about wide receiver behind Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston and even Isaiah Bond. So Jerry Jeudy may be doing this for attention. Who knows?
Oh, he was flashing the number he is on the depth chart. Nice.
Number 4. Well done, Gumshoe. We have our private eye. That was way better than I thought it was going to be. And the music's amazing as well. Anything to add while the music is still going?
Jerry Jeudy, why are you doing this? Why are you drawing attention to yourself? Like, we talked about Shedeur, and we'll get this probably later on, Shedeur being a celebrity quarterback. Jerry Jeudy does not have enough. Jerry Jeudy does not have enough leeway or enough clout to be a celebrity wide receiver. Maybe when he was drafted out of Alabama, he did, but ever since the Steve Smith Seniors thing happened. Jerry Jeudy, you do not have the clout to be doing this right now.
All right, so here's how it normally works. The private eye does all the digging. They put together all the information that's available, that was comprehensive, that was well-rounded. I think you did more research than a lot of the idiots who jumped to all sorts of crazy conclusions
You
immediately.
might be the second best private eye in the NFL this offseason.
Is that a Rossini Vrabel?
Hey, you take that as
That's
a
pretty good. Did you see Mike Vrabel bring the dog? He Herb Streeted his way through a press conference. That was good, too.
He's resorting to using puppies to distract
It's
everyone.
amazing. It's apps. He needs to do a different one and do an adoption thing every single press conference. It's amazing. Mike Vrabel. That is good work.
By the way,
Deshaun Watson needed this dog in the worst way.
Oh, no.
He needed it in the worst way when you know what hit the fan. Now, I'd say there's another former quarterback who could have used a dog, but his problem involved dogs. We won't go there with Michael Vick. So, Daryl, let me ask you this.
Hopefully I talked over that.
The private eye just assembled all of this information to you. Do you guys now this week have to address Jerry Jeudy Gate with the quarterbacks?
It's got to come up. Yeah, we do.
See, this is the Cleveland media. This is what they do.
Well,
this is why stuff festers.
Nope.
This is why the Browns are a losing football team.
To give
things
him...
like this segment, and this beat reporter, and this private eye, and this host, and Ken scripting bootlegs for his kids for youth football. This is why the Browns lose.
To give him an opportunity to explain himself and the edit and whatever else he feels he needs to say to make everybody believe that he does not have a preference of who wins the quarterback competition. Which, oh, by the way, I have a feeling every player on that offense has their preference of who they want to win the quarterback competition. They have favorites. Like that, it's just human nature.
That's
it's
normal, right?
Yeah, it's natural. Expressing it publicly, maybe not the best thing to do. And I'm not saying that Jerry did that. He went on social media.
Did he or didn't he? I thought we just went over this.
Multiple posts on social media to dispel the perception from that edited TikTok live video of him expressing a preference to have Deshaun Watson be the starting quarterback. I'll say this. I think Jerry Jeudy just needs to focus on one thing and one thing only this year, and that's catching the football and then hanging on to it when he does catch it. He had a very bad year last year. Bad year, especially for a guy that the Browns committed to and gave him a nice contract after some not-so-good years with the Denver Broncos. So he really needs to hone in on focus on himself and bouncing back strong from what was a very, very bad year. He had a bad attitude last year. He was awful on the football field.
He got into it with Shedeur, too.
Yeah, and you know what? You know how many times Shedeur Sanders could have gone after him for stuff he screwed up? And Shedeur didn't do that. But Jerry didn't hesitate to try and show him up on the sideline. So
yeah, I got to be honest. We were warned. I feel like I did some of the warning. We were warned about Jerry Jeudy from the get-go. They were desperate. They hadn't been able to draft wide receivers, so they traded for one. Somebody with a lot of talent. I mean, but there's 1,000
Well, that's what
wide
Andrew
receivers that
Berry
have
was
talent.
doing to compensate for his inability to draft wide receivers in the 3rd through 5th rounds.
Yeah.
Because remember, he traded for Amari.
The Amari Cooper thing was great.
It worked out great, right? You gave up, I think, a 5th-round pick for Amari. You ended up getting 2 1,000-yard seasons from him.
And then you traded him at the right time.
And not only did you trade him, but you got a 3rd-round pick for him when you did it.
I think it could be time to move on from Jerry Jeudy. I think it was time to never get in bed in business with Jerry Jeudy to begin with. I feel like they figured that out, but maybe they're going to try to salvage it one last time. We got to go, but I never want to be in the Jerry Jeudy business, and this is the reason. And I saw he was also flashing the watch with Deshaun Watson. That's fine, whatever. There's a lot of watch flashing, a lot of bling flashing for Browns players that, you know, one of the worst teams in football last year. I think that's, but I'm old. That's what the kids are into these days. 216-474-0092. Is Daryl Ryder going to tear apart this quarterback room before we even get into the competition this week in training camp? And, oh, by the way, LeBron is gone. We had Danny Cunningham on earlier. Where do they go from here? That's straight ahead on Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
No word on what led to the move, but we do know that no one from North Carolina is talking about it. Get all the latest Browns content filtered right to your phone during this offseason by following the Browns playlist and 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
I will get back to LeBron here in a little bit because we have to figure out where the Cavs can go from here as their offseason seems like it kicked off with authority with Mario Hezonja, who up until a week ago I did not know was still playing basketball. He's a Cleveland Cavalier! Yes. No. Hey, whatever. I have people that say they've seen him in, EuroLeague and Real Madrid.
When they get Jonathan Kuminga, you'll be feeling better about things.
I don't think most Cavs fans will be. I think they heard the Kuminga stuff.
I said you, not Cavs fans.
Yeah, I think...
and then you can make Cavs fans feel better.
When you think you're getting LeBron and the storybook and the documentary and you're a season ticket holder and every night's going to be crazy and...
Well, your tickets are now cheaper.
They should be cheaper.
Because you know darn well if they got LeBron, the ticket prices were going up.
Yeah, they were. Remember, we had gotten reports, people saying that the tickets were frozen.
Yes.
Because...
I think they're unfrozen now.
You think, can you get in now? Let us know.
I think they're thawed now. They thawed immediately at about, what was it, Friday?
Well, now, wait a second.
11:41
There
a.m.
are, as somebody who is half Croatian, and I know there are a lot of Croatians in the area, Stipe Miocic, Hezonja, ticket market, Croatians. I'm trying. No?
Nothing. Crickets.
Not working? Come on, there has to be at least...
No special music for you from Owen. For
There you go.
You don't think there's like 20 more Croatians?
Cleveland Croatians
You
right
don't
now.
think there's... You don't think there's 20 more Croatian tickets to be bought now?
Oh, I'm sure at the East Side Croats Club or whatever it's called.
The Croat Club?
They're going to sell.
I haven't spoken at that yet. You know the Slovenians come out of the woodwork when Luka is here,
Of course
right?
they do.
So, I'm just saying, Hezonja's here.
Still waiting for Lima's power ranking here.
I don't really know any other Croatians. All my family's basically gone, so...
Well...
You could have ranked
yourself. A
yourself.
humidor, did they? So
the Italians gave me the humidor.
That's not where we identify you at.
Hey, Feast is coming up quick. Columbus Day will be here before you know it. Daryl Ryder is
It's been a Cavaliers famine.
Yeah. He's just going to keep going. So, Daryl, you are going to be covering the Cleveland Browns this week. The Jerry Jeudy stuff we went over, and you've been asked, and Ken, I mean, Ken doesn't know this, but I kind of snicker every single time we have a Browns guest on over the last month. Who's going to be the starting quarterback? Like every first question is.
And I'm looking forward to answering that question for the next 6 weeks.
Yes.
Every time I'm on.
Well, we're done with stuff like you're going to hear from Mark Schlereth. We're done with stuff like this, right?
30-pound dumbbells, and he was in the locker room. People were like, wow, that's so cool. The 30-pound dumbbell shoulder press, let's just pump our brakes right there. When Bill Parcells was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and he had that meeting with Tony Romo, and he said to Tony Romo, nobody wants a celebrity quarterback. Like, don't be a celebrity quarterback. Get on the grind. Do your stuff. Like, stuff like that always concerns me a little bit with young guys who are more about, or the perception is, you're more about building your brand than necessarily building your career.
Fedor's done it. I mean, he's been a celebrity quarterback from almost day one.
Yeah, since the time he got into college football.
He's done pretty well.
Yeah, no, I mean, he did slip from a potential first rounder to a fifth rounder.
All right, that was what, the Stink Pod on Odyssey? Don't we
the
air that?
Stinkin' Truth podcast.
Oh, the Stinkin' Truth.
You can hear that right here on Odyssey.
That's right.
And on 92.3.
People love hearing Schlereth, who also commented a bunch on Jerry Jeudy. So we're done with that stuff. Right now it's football. We're done with all the fame stuff, the legendary. We're done with that. It's football time now, right? That's the only thing that Todd Monken cares about.
I don't know. I saw videos over the weekend.
What'd you see?
Oh, this video.
Hey, how you doing?
Legendary.
Damn. Yes, sir. What's your name? Where you from?
Shador Sanders, Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. Cleveland, Ohio's in the house. Stop playing with them, man. You see the fit. Describe it today.
Fear of God 101, man. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. Fear of God.
You got the ice on.
I see.
You know how it's going.
Damn.
You know how it's going.
Okay, okay.
Lights on the feet, you know tradition.
Okay, give me.
Could you help translate some of this for me? Again, I am
You need to bring John back in.
I am. Do we need our private eye?
I think we need Dear John.
Okay, what was he wearing?
He was wearing. I did see the video.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe the clothing that he was wearing
Because you're not cool. You're not legendary.
He was wearing a lot of diamond bracelets, jewelry, necklaces, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's the iced out that they're referencing. Does
he have security when he walks around?
He was. Yeah.
Is there a problem with that though, guys?
No,
walks around with that?
I'm telling you, just as
good for him. Congratulations to him on all his success.
Just as someone who watches the news, I know they tend to scare you.
He's got a pinky ring. Like, what does he look like? Who is he? A mob boss?
Is that? I have not seen this. Is that what he looks like?
No, but the pinky ring is a mob. He's kind of wearing like a jumpsuit, like a gray jumpsuit.
I think he looks great, guys.
Was he saying Ferragamo? Is that what he was saying?
I don't know. We've got more. You want to hear it?
Okay.
By your style of advice, what would it be?
I would say be comfortable. I'm always comfortable everywhere I do. Everything I do, everywhere I go, I'm comfortable.
We love that. We love that. When you're building your fits, where you start?
Start with the vision. I start with the mind first. You know, the mind will tell you how to feel, and then you just put the rest on.
Okay. Owen, when you got up this morning, you started with a vision.
I did.
And now I'm looking at you, and the vision has come to life.
Yep.
You're wearing an Avon Lake shirt?
Correct. I'm wearing one of my coaching shirts because it's comfortable.
Okay. I've got on a hoodie. That was my vision today. I wear a lot of hoodies. We get a little drafty in here.
Browns training camp starts this week, so I'm wearing black.
Oh, come on, Daryl. That's ridiculous.
Sorry.
It's supposed to be optimistic.
It's low-hanging fruit even for me.
Is there any more of this clearly?
Oh no, there's much more.
Wait. Is there any more of this clearly off the cuff, came out of nowhere by just some random person who happened to...
You mean the people gallery? Of course.
Okay. Would you rather have a partner with style or funds?
That's a great question. I hope both.
What?
I hope both.
Yeah,
I don't think I got to compromise, so I'm probably like 30-something.
Okay. Love that. What's your favorite song at the moment?
Favorite song? I'll say Turn Back by Shador Sanders.
Okay.
Let's go.
I've heard it. Now, I gave him credit for that song, and I got a few texts going, really? You like this music? And I said, I thought it sounds like Drake. I couldn't tell the difference. I thought it should go platinum, right? Isn't that what you want to do?
Course.
That should get 1 billion streams.
Of course. I think it is more about the streams now.
Yeah, it's good.
I will say this. I think Shador is a tad premature on the legendary branding.
Well, that's his thing.
You have to accomplish something first before you become legendary. And listen.
He has. What do you mean? Hold on.
I'm Team Shador, by the way.
Daryl,
but
he
you got to accomplish
sounds like it right now.
Wait. That's totally unfair. And for the people that are reacting on social media and YouTube,
those people that are brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Yeah, the people that are hearing you, Daryl, they're gonna come after you. And what I'm saying,
I know they are.
What I'm saying is, he has accomplished a lot. He was drafted.
Yep.
He starred at Colorado.
Yep.
What was his record at Colorado? 13-12.
Yeah, it's above 500.
Retired his number, Daryl.
Yeah,
they retired his number. What are you talking about? Do you know where Colorado was before?
Yes,
Shador Sanders was there.
They were in the basement.
It seems like they might be headed back to the basement this year. I don't know what Deion's doing right now with that football team. Needs Shador. Needs Travis Hunter. I mean, there's significant losses. Anyway, I don't know. Why are you guys playing this again? What... You're trying to criticize like the way he looks or talks, or what is?
I just pressed play on the
well, Joey came
audio
in.
That's provided.
Okay, what's your favorite meal?
Favorite meal? I like work.
Yeah, young man.
Yeah.
That depends on your zodiac sign.
The money sign.
Thank you so much for your time, brother.
Appreciate it, homie.
That is the most organic on the street interview you will find.
Well, that happens sometimes. There's a lot of cameras. There's social media.
Very TMZ style right there.
Yeah, Maurice, I hope you're with me here. I don't like the way.
Bring him in.
I don't like the way that Daryl and others are portraying this right now. I think he's just a young kid having fun.
Yeah, man, come on, man. What are you guys on there talking about? What are you and Daryl talking about?
That's what I'm saying, Maurice. We have a competition that starts this week.
It's very serious
So why
stuff.
are you guys talking about the video?
Exactly.
The man is over there talking about he's from Cleveland. He's trying to claim your area. What are you guys talking about?
He's promoting Northeast Ohio. LeBron's not doing that today.
Nope.
Oh, you know that. You know I called you for that, Tom. You was wrong about that. Now you're going to sit there and be wrong all week because Kid ain't there talking about nothing.
Now, wait a second. I am telling you that I don't like, from the stink pod that we played earlier.
Stinking truth.
There's a lot of the hate.
I've gotten on Slayer too already.
Yeah.
What are we discussing?
That's what I'm saying. This is what happens with guys like Daryl and the Cleveland media.
Listen, Shador's going to hit the field Wednesday and start balling out.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
What was that, Daryl?
I said he's going to hit the field on Wednesday and he's going to start balling out.
That's all it is. So what are we discussing now, talking about this video?
We're talking about legendary.
Listen, it
Stop it. Can
it
the
went
man
viral.
Can he just work out without all this? Can he just work out without all this?
I agree with that.
Yeah. Thank you, Mo.
Thank you, Owen. Can a man just play football
it's
without
like,
this?
just let him work out. Let him put out the video of the workout.
Yeah.
Let him walk down the street. Let him
Why-
put out
why
the
you
video of
listen?
walking down the street. Guys, let him do that.
Are we acting like that over Mason Graham's defensive tackle video? No, we're not. We're not doing that.
Did he put out a video?
Tyler Show put out a video in San Diego. Are we sitting there saying he legendary?
Hold on. I didn't see.
Wait, where was Mason Graham's
I've seen
defensive
all
tackle
these
video?
videos. Tyler Show in San Diego with
Who's
Drew
that?
Brees. Who's that?
Yeah.
But Tyler Shook?
Does he play for the Browns?
Maurice, I have to
No,
ask you.
What I'm saying
I have
is,
to ask you. Can I ask you something?
What about Mason Graham?
I want to ask you
We
something.
Does he have a
we got
video
all
out?
these different videos. Why are we worried about?
Does Mason
this-
Graham have a video
Well,
out right now?
But Maurice,
Yes, he does.
Hold on.
Yes, he does.
But Shador's name is the algorithm. That's what people have to
Thank you.
understand.
We understand that, Tony. You know I understand it, but my point is why are you guys sitting there?
Maurice, can I ask you something? What was your
Go ahead.
vision? What was your vision this morning when you laid out your clothes?
You swear you saw, bro. I just woke up. don't try to be funny, Tony.
All right, thank you, Maurice. Hey, I'm pumped. Look, no
I hope he
LeBron.
calls into Stink's show later.
Yes, he should.
And lets him know.
Listen,
should.
I can't wait to see Shador's film crew out there Wednesday.
How many deep they rolling now?
I believe 2.
Okay. Now, what about Deshaun Watson? Because we not only have the quarterback competition,
1 or 2.
We have the film crew competition. Now, did they to maybe save?
You know what? Who's going to get the best angle of the day?
Well, that's what I'm asking. To save money and to avoid unnecessary replication,
They should just team up.
Why don't they pool their video together?
Yeah.
That's the vision. That's smart.
You've always been a visionary.
Start with the vision. Start with the mind first.
What's your zodiac sign?
Broke.
What's your zodiac sign?
The money sign.
I'm the antithesis of Shador's broke.
I saw your side hustle over the weekend. Daryl's Picasso at his house. It's not just the photography. He's going to work on the walls. That was pretty impressive.
I had to scrub my hair good because I actually look like I turned
Used
gray.
your head as a paintbrush?
No, that's silly.
Looking at my hair when I was done, you would have thought I did.
Very avant-garde.
I had a couple of white streaks in it. There was part of me, it's like, maybe I should just leave this and let people talk.
When we come back, LeBron James, not a Cavalier. But who is going to be a Cavalier? And where do they go from here? I have some myth busting to do on some stuff that I've heard over the last 3 days, and I got to get it off my chest. It's Lima and Daryl Ryder in for Ken Carman on Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. It's Anthony.
starting July 28th. We're your home for training camp and preseason coverage. The radio home of the Cleveland Browns. 92.3 The Fan.
I'm going to ask you where you thought LeBron was going to end up, but what do you think of LeBron's decision 2.0?
With the 76ers.
Yeah, he landed with the Sixers.
I mean, I'm out of the game. I'm happy for him, but that's not my life no more.
All right, that's Derrick Rose.
Former LeBron teammate.
Former teammate. Oh, that's right.
That's courtesy of Fox 32 in Chicago.
Everybody has to be asked, so he was asked. Maybe Daryl will be asking the Browns quarterbacks this week about LeBron's decision to go elsewhere. We're seeing a lot of, by the way, on social media, and I appreciate everybody commenting on our videos. Social media reactions brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. A lot of people saying move on. That's what we're doing. We are moving on. We have to move on. The Cavs have to move on.
We have talked a lot this morning about where the Cavaliers go from here and what their next moves are. Kobe's back from vacation, and he went right to work yesterday.
Yeah, well, first they had the wedding. They had the Craig Porter Jr. wedding.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations to the newlyweds.
Yes, I had my spies all over that one.
John went there, too.
He was not. Now, he's got to be more resourceful.
Work his way up to that.
Yeah, but he'll learn. He's very young. So Daryl is in for Ken Carman today, and look, I heard a lot of stuff over the weekend that I could not believe. So do you want me to start doing some myth busting?
I think we need to do some myth busting because a lot of revisionist history out there concerning the Cavaliers and what they did, what they should not have done, even though Clutch was intimately involved in some of the moves that the Cavs made. So, yeah, I think we need to do some myth busting.
All right, well, the first one that it was all about Darius Garland, right? That is the easiest one to debunk because we've heard all the podcasts where they've commented or not commented on Darius Garland. And look, I don't know how many times I need to stress this, but the money situation is what dictated that Darius was going to be out of Cleveland. It wasn't that Rich Paul hated the Cavs or anything like that. It's that once they traded for Donovan Mitchell, the writing was on the wall for Darius because Evan was there and he was going to get a max deal. And I don't know if you guys are paying attention on how the second apron works, but you can't do it. You just simply can't construct teams in that manner. And obviously, Rich Paul wants Darius to get as much money as humanly possible. So all this stuff that's come out over the last 2 days that, if Darius would have been here, LeBron would have been here. I mean, it's total, utter nonsense, and I can't believe people are running with it. Number two, that LeBron just refused to play with James Harden. As if, by the way, it wouldn't be a good basketball fit. It would be. We'll compare the fits in a second. But LeBron in the short roll is like one of the best at it ever, especially in this third act of his career. And James Harden's one of the best pick and roll players in the NBA. And I have all the numbers to back it up. I'm not going to bore you with it. Imagine LeBron setting a screen for James Harden and then Harden being able to draw defenders the way he does and the way that you can use spacing and the way that he passes the ball. Like, it would be incredible to watch. And so all of this, James, we've heard the podcast too, like specifically on February 17th, after the deal on the Mind the Game podcast or whatever it was with LeBron, he's sitting there going, Cavs got better.
Yeah.
The Cavs got better with James Harden. Meaning that Darius was holding them back a little bit in the eyes of LeBron. Like, that's Rich's client. So you know he's speaking freely because why would he go on there? They wouldn't tell him to attack Darius Garland. So that's nonsense. Number three, the whole Harden trade was a failure now. No, it wasn't. They got a better player. They went further in the playoffs, and they have more financial flexibility. Check, check, check. That's the easiest one to debunk of all of this. I don't understand where any of that stuff was coming from. Not to mention, Wendy put that Darius finished the season healthy. And so, wow, that's a big mistake by the Cavs. No, he didn't.
Yeah, didn't he say after the season that the toe was still bothering him and he wouldn't be able to?
He used it as an excuse in the first press conference he gave after they got eliminated, in which he fouled out and basically got played off the floor. He was so bad in a play-in game. You guys are talking about James Harden being terrible in an Eastern Conference Finals game. When are the games in the playoffs that Darius Garland has ever been good? And in his opportunity with Kawhi Leonard in a play-in game, didn't even make it out of that game alive, basically. So, 1, 2, 3 so far debunked. Do you want to go to number 4? That Rich was mad at the Cavs over their treatment of Darius Garland. Well, that's interesting considering they gave him, on the very first day he was extension eligible, 5 years, $193 million, with the opportunity to make $231 million. If that is disrespectful, then I guess we have very different definitions of the term disrespectful. Number 5, best chance to win. We can certainly debate this. It is subjective. Now, Zach Lowe over the weekend said he thought the Cavs would be better than what the 76ers are with LeBron. He thinks the Cavs would have been better. I heard Evan Turner say the same thing. Evan Turner's like, he should have gone to Cleveland if he was trying to truly have the best chance to win. Philly has a Joel Embiid problem. Yep. You guys all like to tell me about James Harden and all of his issues in the playoffs. His playoff career is legendary, to borrow a phrase from Shedeur Sanders. It's basically LeBron James's playoff career if you compare it to Joel Embiid's. Why? Because Joel Embiid doesn't play. Yeah. He can't play. So I keep seeing, look at this incredible starting 5 for the Philadelphia 76ers. Oh my God, the faces and the names, and Joel Embiid is on there, who I'm already seeing people in Philly and some national guys talk about trading. So you can't call it this all-time starting 5 if you're already looking to trade him and if he's not going to potentially be available, which right now, prediction markets, here's a little tip. Probably put some money on the fact that he's not going to make it to the actual playoffs. Let's move on. Number 6, that he went there because of Mike Gansey. It's not a good look for the Cavs right now, obviously, that Gansey goes there and looks like executive of the year. Let's see how this thing actually pans out, but I don't think it matters. I know they're in that photo. It was an awesome photo. We had fun with it. We went over all the names that I remember because that was from my high school days. Shout out to Mike Patrick from Perry. Went on to play his basketball at Walsh Jesuit. He's in that picture. If he would have been the GM, they probably would have gone there too.
You know what? LeBron a lot closer to Brandon Weems than Mike Gansey.
Yeah, exactly.
And guess where LeBron is?
Where's Weems, by the way, right now? Still has not been named the official GM of the Cavs. You want to move on to number 7, that the Cavs stink. Here is Tom Haberstroh on his podcast from yesterday, who's pretty plugged in. Does this sound like the Cavs stink to you? Let's start out with the Warriors.
Of all the teams and fan bases that are most heartbroken right now, I guess it's Golden State and Cleveland for very different reasons. Golden State, to me, is so upset right now because it's clear that there really isn't much of a plan for the twilight of Steph Curry's career other than just letting this run its course. For Cleveland, they still went to the conference finals last year. Yeah, they got swept by the Knicks, but at least you have a core there that you can point to and say, hey, we still have a future with Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, and James Harden. We're going to win 50 games next year and be right there in the thick of the race for the conference finals.
Again, that was Tom Haberstroh, but what was Kevin O'Connor saying over the weekend? The Cavs stink. When did we get this way in the NBA that 26 of the 30 teams stink? We don't do this in the NFL. We don't say that every team that doesn't win the Super Bowl had a failed season, but that is the way these NBA people talk about the league now. When I was growing up, it was the NBA. It's fantastic. The NBA, where anything can happen. Now, in 2026, the NBA, where 26 of our 30 teams flat out stink. Do you want me to continue, Daryl?
Go ahead.
Number 8, that this is a no vote on Donovan Mitchell. You know, it is funny. I went through and did a deep dive. Tyrese Maxey's a really good player. Really good player. He's young. He's been ascending. Donovan Mitchell's numbers are better across the board at the same age. And they're still better now. There's no moment where he has ever outpaced Donovan Mitchell at the same age and had the playoff success. The playoff, big number, and Maxey is ascending, but Donovan Mitchell's has been a better player his entire career than Tyrese Maxey, and also at the same ages.
Yeah, but I also think it is fair to say that Donovan Mitchell is not a number 1.
Okay, yeah, Tyrese Maxey isn't either.
Yeah. None of these myths have moved me.
Number 9. The best starting 5 ever. I think I kind of went over that.
Yeah.
Another one bled over into that one. And number 10, the final one, and this has nothing to do with the Cavs, but that this changes LeBron's legacy in any way. I don't see that. Like, he shouldn't even be playing basketball at this point. Like, this is a bonus. The last 7 years have been a bonus that we've even got to see him this
He's going to be better for the 76ers than Michael Jordan was with the Wizards.
Yeah.
So
he's incredible.
Yeah. And if he doesn't win the championship, I don't think it changes his legacy. However, if he wins a 5th NBA championship, fourth with a fourth different team, right? Then to me, that elevates it. And then the question is asked, could Michael Jordan have won 4 championships with 4 different franchises? I know he won 6. He went 6 for 6 with one.
It's not as clean as,
but think
people
about that.
want it to be, because sports have changed. Free agency is different.
You move in free agency, and again, I'm saying assuming LeBron wins a championship with Philadelphia, they end their 43-year title drought. I mean, winning a championship is hard enough, but to go to 4 separate franchises and win a championship with them, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it'd be incredible.
That's some GOAT material for me.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
That's why Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay and winning a Super Bowl
did it without Bill.
Yeah,
didn't need Bill.
It wasn't clean like we like our players to play their whole career. But that's just it's from a different era, and he was able to help assemble a Super Bowl winning team. LeBron thinks he's doing that in Philly. I don't think they will.
Is it? Yeah,
I think they have some major challenges. The same stuff I would have said about the Cavs, by the way. I think there are some major fit issues in Philadelphia. Like, you imagine in a playoff series, like Jalen Brunson just picking on, Joel Embiid, come up. You're going to try to defend me. Maxey, you're going to try to defend me. LeBron, at your age, you're going to try to come up and defend me. Like, good luck. I can't see this iteration of the 76ers winning the championship, but I'll watch.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch.
You'll be dialed in. I love the fact that Tom Brady won without Bill Belichick. Mm-hmm. Michael Jordan never won a title without Scottie Pippen.
Yeah. Well, Bill Belichick's going to have to try to win at UNC this year without Mike Lombardi. Stay tuned for that news. Maybe Jeff will put it in the update. All right, we got to go. 216-474-0092. The thoughts on where the Cavs are right now. I attempted to do some myth busting. Daryl said he was not sold. What say you? 216-474-0092. Straight ahead, final hour of the show here on Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. It is Anthony Lima for Expert Renovations.
headline segments. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Talk sports deep into the Cleveland night. Overtime with Jake Volnick. Weeknights at 7. Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Basketball talk coverage on 92.3 The Fan, presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi. One price, 5 years guaranteed. Xfinity, imagine that.
All right, LeBron didn't come here, so, that stinks. For me, at least. I don't know how everybody felt, because I think a lot of people pretended that they never wanted LeBron the minute he didn't decide to come in, because you pivot. And look, we're all guilty of this. We all get emotional on these things. We all cope. Like, I saw a bunch of people tweet at me, "You're coping." Yeah. I thought my basketball team with LeBron was going to be way better than without it. So I'm coping 100%. And I see Philly fans are coming out. They've obtained some of our videos. So they're coming after us. Hey, Philly should be pumped. They should wonder why he's not going to live in Philly. Man, that's kind of weird.
I just think the whole happiness thing ended up being one of the dumbest narratives out there.
Ooh, you're myth busting now.
Yeah, because Philadelphia fan is some of the most miserable lot on the planet. I mean, these people boo Santa Claus. They complain 2 days after winning the Super Bowl about their offense. Like, they're passionate, but they're miserably passionate in Philadelphia. And I can't imagine that LeBron James is truly going to be happy in Philadelphia.
Well,
imagine the first time he misses a layup or he misses a free throw. They're going to start booing him.
Oh, come on. They're not going to.
Yes, they are.
Maybe by the end of the year if things go south, but they're going to enjoy
boo LeBron. LeBron is going to get booed on his home floor before he retires.
That probably is something that probably is going to happen, because they're not winning the championship. We all understand that, right? Like, Philly is not. If you guys were so sure that the Cavs, even if adding LeBron, I saw so many people definitively basically eliminate the Cavs. They got James Harden. They can't win the championship. All right, Philly's got Joel Embiid. They can't win the championship. Done. See how easy this is? If that's what we're going to do, and we're going to say 26 of the 30 teams stink every year, Philly, you stink. You're not going to win the championship. Your season's going to end in disarray. There will be boo birds. It's going to be a disaster by the end. Explain to me where the freedom of movement, how the offense is going to work. Like, if you're going to throw all these warning signs about how the Cavs roster is so bad and none of these things make sense, a terrible basketball fit, explain the fit in Philly. Like, your defense is going to be bad. Objectively, I'm trying to be as honest as I can. And I would have said it if LeBron would have come to the Cavs. Their regular season defense was going to be in big trouble.
What if part of LeBron going to Philly was to elevate the clutch clients there that have assembled?
I mean, that's Rich's. That's at the forefront of Rich. Rich does not care about assembling championship teams anywhere unless that makes his players more money.
His job is to get his guys paid and paid the maximum. And this is really the first time in LeBron's career where he is not getting every penny. I mean, he signed for basically the league minimum, 2 years, $8 million. So he's always been a max player financially in the NBA. So,
well, it's a huge discount, and that's a big deal. What they were able to do basically on the cheap
with the Cavaliers. Here's the question that we have not really addressed. Is what would the financials look like with the Cavaliers? Because I suspect for LeBron to have come back to the Cavs, it was going to have to be for more money than just the minimum. That's my theory. That's my myth that I'll throw out there.
Well, do you even think
that LeBron was not going to come back for the veteran minimum with the Cavaliers?
It's tough to say, because I think people are now understanding that the goal, once he fell out of favor with the Lakers, right? I mean, look at the money he signed for.
Yeah.
Like, if he was willing to do this, why wouldn't he just go back to the Lakers? They wouldn't have to worry about moving or anything like that. It's because it looks like he wanted to go to New York. He wanted to go play for the Knicks.
That was plan A. And then the Knicks rained on his parade by winning the NBA championship.
In a weird way, right?
Yeah. Because imagine this, right? You start your career in Cleveland. You go to Miami, win a couple. You come back to Cleveland, win one. You go to L.A., you lift them up, one of the storied franchises in the NBA. You win a championship there in the bubble. And then you end your career with the Knicks and end their drought. Like, that is as legendary, Shedeur Sanders, as you can get as a player. Now, okay, well, the Knicks won the title this past season, so we're good, LeBron. You can go elsewhere. We got our trophy in the case. The drought is over. And so, well, the next best option available to him to try and end another drought is Philadelphia. 43 years. I still can't believe 1983 is 43 years ago. And it blows my mind.
That Allen Iverson, Eric Snow NBA Finals run, right?
Yeah.
Like that was a long time ago. Was it 2001?
Yeah, like 2001, I think.
Yeah. Was that the Ty Lue game?
Yep.
Game 1
Ty
where
Lue
Allen Iverson went off for 40 and stepped over him. I have vivid memories of that series.
I remember Ty Lue as head coach of the Cavaliers being asked about getting stepped over.
Chuck in Old Brooklyn. Go ahead. Next up on the Fan. How are you?
Yo, fellas. Thanks for taking my call, man. How you doing?
Good.
I just want to talk about it's out of all our senses, it seems like the spirit of common sense is what we don't use the most. You know what I mean? I mean, when LeBron came back the first time, it was unbelievable, all because of the letter that Dan Gilbert wrote. No, everybody thought that would have sealed the deal. When he came back the first time, it was for the fans, and he said it. I think the second time, he didn't want to come back and win that owner another ring under the circumstances of him playing for less money. I mean, it all makes sense to me. It hurts, To me, I was calling them all type of names. But then at the end of the day, you got to understand. I mean, that letter was very crucial to me in this decision. It broke up the bond that he had with the city, and it came between him and the fans. You know what I'm saying? That letter. What do you guys think?
All right, Chuck. Thank you.
Well, he got over it to come back because Dan flew to Florida and basically apologized and kissed the ring, and they agreed. I don't think that they became friends by any stretch of the imagination, but they agreed to go back into business together. Dan with, I'll write the check. There'll be as many zeros on it needed to help win a championship. And LeBron said, fine, I'll come home. You're going to spend money. You're going to pay me the max money. You're going to pay everyone around us max money. We're going to go try and win a championship. And then once they accomplished that, LeBron hung around for 2 more years, realized, all right, this isn't going anywhere, off to L.A. I've said this repeatedly. Once LeBron James won the NBA championship in 2016, that to me cleared the books,
I
cleared
agree.
the decks.
That's fine for me.
Handshake. Thank you very much. We're even. We're good. You did right by us. Go live your life personally and professionally in a manner of your choosing. You've done right by us, okay? We have nothing more to expect or ask of you. If he would have come, that's why, Friday I was on the air when the news broke. It was Dan Mennigan and I, and it's why I wasn't raging radio lunatic that LeBron picked the 76ers over the Cavaliers, because it's like, I get it, and he already did it. Now, had he come back for those 4 years and the Cavs never won a championship, and then he went to L.A. and won a title, my reaction might be a little different. But no, we're good. Okay, so he's going to Philadelphia. Good luck. Not going to root for you.
No, I'm going to hate watch.
I'm
gonna be back to the Miami LeBron hate watching,
right?
Which I had a lot of fun. I mean, maybe it does say a little bit about me, but you can choose to be optimistic about life and look for good things. I'm gonna look for bad here. I will be a hater.
Yeah,
guilty as charged, and I think that's the fun. That's what sports is about.
He now stands in the way of this iteration of the Cavaliers.
That is the key.
To try and win a championship and climb the mountain. And here's the other thing. I got to be honest with you. I think if you gave, because this was, as they were going through the LeBron post 2.0 rebuild again, right? When Kobe Altman was reassembling this team, there was a little feeling within that organization, and this was no slight at LeBron, but hey, we're going to try and we don't have LeBron anymore. We're going to try and build our own team post-LeBron. And I think that there's a little motivation internally with the Cavaliers to try and win a championship without LeBron. And again, that's no disrespect or shade at LeBron, but organizationally, they should feel that way. Yes, we're eternally grateful for everything LeBron has meant to our franchise. He owns just about every record imaginable in our books, okay? But now we're going to try, what, are we just supposed to be in the lottery every year? No, they have built a really good team. Now, I don't know if they can win a championship, this group, but I'd rather sit here and have the conversations we've been having about this Cavalier team. You know, Jonathan Kuminga, is he going to make them better? I think he'll be better than Dean Wade. So, yes. Is it good enough to help them win an NBA championship? Probably not going to be the missing piece there. I would rather have these
winning the title thing's kind of hard.
Right. And I would rather be having these type of conversations about how they bounce back from getting swept in the conference finals than them coming off a 19-win season in which they didn't win the NBA draft lottery. They had to pick third, fourth, fifth, whatever it ended up being, and how they're going to put Humpty Dumpty back together. Like, this is infinitely more fun and more entertaining to talk about, right? But, yeah, there's no rooting for LeBron now. He's now in the way of this Cavalier organization trying to win another NBA championship. And they got a really, really good team. They're going to win at least 50 games next season.
There's some people who doubt that. There's a lot more teams that are trying to win in the Eastern
fine,
Conference.
But I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win at least 50 next season.
If they win 50 games, I mean,
And I think they can still be a top 4 seed in the conference.
Funny you should say that. The lines came out this morning for opening win total.
Did they?
The Cleveland Cavaliers are at 48.5 games right now.
I'm taking the over.
You will.
I'm taking the over.
I got to wait. A decrease of 7 games.
Yeah, remember, they won 64 the year earlier.
Yeah,
so,
they won 52 last year.
I'm going to pause on that until
they were the 4 seed.
Until I see what they're doing as their offseason now starts. Everybody else is already done with theirs. Let's see what happens. I will say one last note, because I know we got to go. The Dan Gilbert part of this, people have wondered, they mended defenses and all that. I mean, I've heard Dan, I know he doesn't speak like he used to, right?
Yeah.
He's been dealing with a lot. But when he talks, kind of conspicuous how much he doesn't ever mention LeBron James.
A lot I don't know if people go back to that win over Detroit, that Game 7 win over Detroit. Gilbert's comments there. You can read between the lines.
Yeah, I think so. Well put. 216-474-0092. So what's the next move? We'll play a little bit of what Danny Cunningham said if you missed that earlier in the show. I have some ideas on what it means. And are we in a manufactured spat with a radio station in Philadelphia? This came across my desk over the weekend. We'll analyze straight ahead on Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
50%.
Find all the best segments from all our shows and can always listen on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
All right, Daryl is in for Ken Carman. I think I'm on with Coach Lance tomorrow. Is that right?
Correct. Sources confirm.
And then the Padoner?
Yeah.
I mean, it is going to be an explosive week.
I'll be back out in Maria working on my tan or my sunburn. I burn at my age now. I no longer tan, I burn.
Well, let me ask you this, Dale, before we get back to the Cavs, because Danny Cunningham had some interesting things to say earlier in the show about the future of your Cleveland Cavaliers. Are you going to be charting everything this week? Next week? Every week?
I will not have a completion tracker.
Excuse me?
There will not be a quarterback completion tracker.
So you're just not going to do any work then?
Yeah, what are you doing?
That's the most important thing.
I'm going to do some work, but there's a lot of context that gets missed in there, and they're working on things and whatnot. The numbers that I do feel really do matter, those when they're in the 11-on-11. 7-on-7, meh. Individual, meh. The 11-on-11 stuff, that's what really matters in training camp. Because you're doing 7-on-7 and individuals, you're working on things. The 11-on-11, when a full defense is on the field, those are the reps that you really have to dial in and pay attention to. Because, camp tends to tell the story of how the season is going to go. And I always like to tell the story of the Vikings joint practice from a few years ago, where the offensive line couldn't line up correctly. They couldn't move the tight end to the left or right side of the formation. The receivers couldn't go in motion correctly. The running backs couldn't line up right, okay? And then what happened? Come the regular season, the Browns led the world in false starts, illegal motions, illegal shifts, all those pre-snap penalties that are absolute just drive killers. So the camp and how productive they are in these practices, that definitely tends to forecast how the season goes. So those 11-on-11 reps, and we're going to see a lot of situational football in camp too.
Yeah, I just know that fans, there is this culture online, especially when there is a quarterback competition. The only way the fans can assess any of this is the videos that come out,
right,
and these stupid numbers.
Yeah.
Now, it's not that the Browns also don't keep track of stuff. They do, but as fans, we don't even know if they're throwing to the right receiver on a given play, if they made the right read. So we'll look at a completion.
We had Andrew Berry on with us, and I asked him if, he could just send me the quarterback grades after every practice so that we're accurate. He laughed, but I was actually being somewhat serious.
I just know that we'll react to this stuff, and then who knows? Monken might go behind the scenes and go, that wasn't the read. We went over this. You read it wrong at the line of scrimmage. Hey, great, you had the nice 30-yard pass.
That's not going to happen behind the scenes.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
I am looking forward to the first time that Todd Monken blows a gasket in the middle of training camp, because it's going to happen. It absolutely. I mean, he was cussing guys out during OTAs in the minicamp.
I think you're going to hear a lot more than, Stefanski was very even keel. And look,
So when it comes to the Todd Monken press conferences here on 92.3 The Fan, I have two words for the powers that be: tape delay.
They need to be censored?
Yes.
That's what you're worried about?
Yes. Because Todd is a loose cannon.
I have to say, here's the pushback I will give. Like, we are ready for a change. We've talked endlessly.
He's the antithesis of Kevin Stefanski.
They went to the opposite.
Yes.
Right? They went to the opposite.
And by the way, I'm not complaining about that. It's glorious.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm just trying to help us keep our FCC license. That's all.
It's going to be more interesting seeing the way that Todd Monken goes around. Now, there's a reason all 32 coaches aren't like this.
Right.
This doesn't work for every team. But maybe this team, because of its youth,
right,
does need an ass kicker and somebody who's going to pull guys aside and cut them down. There is a balance. And I will be watching closely, not just in training camp, but how do they react to the first loss? How do they react to the first terrible quarterback game? Kevin never publicly threw his quarterbacks under the bus. Almost never. Even Baker, when he wanted to. He was very even keel. Sometimes there is time for that. Sometimes there is not. I don't know what it'll be with Todd Monken. He's never been a head coach in the NFL.
I think the most important thing for Todd is that he's the same guy every day, right? So win or lose, good practice, bad practice, as long as he's the same guy in front of players or with his players, that's all that matters, okay? Now, if he's different, then I think that would not be so good. He just has to be the same personality day in and day out. By all accounts so far, from everything that I've heard, that is what Todd has been. And he is very open and candid when we ask him questions about things. He certainly gives a lot more than Kevin Stefanski does. You really do need to pay attention to what he says and how he says it. Kevin, we'd have to read between the tea leaves all the time. Well, what does he mean when he says this? Or what? You don't need much of a translator for Todd Monken. He tells you what's on his mind, what he's thinking, and how he's feeling. Okay? Now, there's the camp that says, well, that's not real good that a coach, wears the emotion on the sleeve like that. Me personally, I enjoy it.
Well, for us, it's much better.
But I'm saying, like, I respect and appreciate a guy who's not afraid to say how he thinks, how he feels. Okay? In a league that, prides itself on its secrecy and being close to the vest and reserved and saying a lot with saying nothing, right? So I appreciate that about Todd. Because what he says, he's not feeding you a load like Kevin would, right? He's telling you where he stands on any given day, any given moment, on any given topic. And I respect and appreciate that about him.
Hopefully the players can handle that. Well, some can't. Some cannot handle that at all.
I do feel like just watching these practices, like in the offseason, the players are responding to it in a positive way. Okay? So, and that's all that matters. Every coach has their different style of doing things and operating and whatnot. The other thing I really like, every practice is at 1:30 in the afternoon during camp. It's not one day it's an 11 o'clock practice, and the next day it's at 2, and then the next day it's back to maybe noon. Like, very consistent across the board. Every practice, 1:30 in the afternoon, which actually good because guess where their first 2 games are? Where you don't want to play football in September, Jacksonville, then Tampa Bay in the sauna.
It is. It's definitely going to be interesting. Daryl will be there throughout the week. Look forward to that coverage. Meanwhile, the Cavaliers, we had Danny Cunningham earlier on the show. Some interesting thoughts about where the Cavs go from here because a lot of people throwing their hands up in the air and they think the Cavs are done. This is it. This is the offseason. It's all about Hazonia, and that's it. Danny, earlier in the show, had this to say.
And the fact that the Cavs were a quote-unquote finalist, or at least a team that the focus was on, without making that sort of move, it makes me wonder, was this a situation where if the Cavs would have made a similar move, like adding a Jaylen Brown or adding Giannis, would LeBron be in Cleveland? I tend to think yes.
So, Danny, look, it wasn't all doom and gloom with Danny on the air. Right now, it doesn't look good. I mean, Mike Gansey goes to Philly. They make the Jaylen Brown trade. They get LeBron James. It is incredible what he's been able to accomplish in a short period of time. Meanwhile, the Cavs have done nothing until the Hazonia move yesterday and obviously their second-round draft pick. So I'm very intrigued because I know people are saying, Lima, why aren't you killing the Cavs today? And they're saying a whole bunch of other things too. Well, part of it is now the Cavs offseason truly begins.
Yes.
His free agency, I tried to explain this to people, given the cap situation, free agency is basically dead in the NBA as we know it right now under the specific terms of the new CBA.
They're really regretting around the league that second apron.
Yeah.
The purpose of them agreeing to that second apron was to prevent the super teams from being built or lasting long. Okay, but yeah, they're regretting how the effect of that second apron is resonating throughout the league.
Well, so obviously we always know the draft, the trades, and free agency. The only three ways, you can build a roster. Well, one of those things has been effectively ended. I know technically Jonathan Kuminga is a free agent, but outside of the non-taxpayer mid-level, which Kuminga wants north of that.
Yeah, he wants around 20.
There's no way they can just sign him for $20 million. That's just not how it works. No. They would have to do a sign and trade.
Which means that you've got to send out Max Strus and Dennis Schroeder, which, by the way, I made this joke over the weekend, and I'm it's a joke, but somewhat serious. Max Strus and Dennis Schroeder are now the new Cavs version of Ira Newble, Donovan, Damon Jones, and that remember all those that we Danielle Marshall, we'll give you Ira Newble, Damon Jones, and Danielle Marshall, and you give us Kobe Bryant. I feel like that Max Strus and Max Schroeder are the new version of
Dennis,
that trade machine of trying to get bodies in to help the Cavs, and it's funny to think about, but there needs to be a little bit of reality. But the only way that, it seems if for Kuminga to get what he wants, which is around that $20 million, is it's going to have to be a sign and trade,
which he
means
might be able to get from the Lakers.
Right.
So.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't like the idea of trading Max Strus. I don't like that idea one bit.
Well, they did just sign Hazonia, and because of that, I think it has made Max a little more expendable. I'm not going to act like I'm an expert on Real Madrid and watching him, but just listening to the way people talk about him who actually have watched.
I feel like Max Strus is a combination of like Matthew Dellavedova and Anderson Varejao and he just with a little bit of a better offensive game, but like that hustle and the grit and stick your nose in there and mix it up with opponents like that's Max. And when we talked about the Cavaliers and some of their shortcomings in the postseason when it comes to toughness, physical toughness and what, like Max fits that bill.
Yeah, the only thing, he's 6'5".
I know. I get the measurables, but I'm just saying, I'm talking about his attitude.
Oh, yeah.
And the way he approaches the game. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there and mix it up.
You love that about him for sure.
Right. And the Cavaliers need more of that for them to, get where they want to go.
Well,
and
they need, I talked about this, why I thought Kuminga made sense is they need some athletic specimen. They need guys that can jump, guys that are explosive, guys that can get up and down the floor. They have none of that right now. I mean, you saw it. Right. Now, part of it, they were dead by the time they got to the Knicks series, but they couldn't get back on defense. They couldn't smother guys. They couldn't put guys in a telephone booth the way that the Knicks could and the way that Oklahoma City can and the Spurs can. They don't have any of those guys.
It's a young, athletic man's game. And I guess this is my copium for like LeBron not coming back to the Cavs is that I don't think that 37-year-old James Harden and 41-year-old LeBron gets the Cavaliers over the hump in a league that is being built around youth and athleticism.
Yeah. And you got James Harden,
and
who's
again,
36,
I'm not saying that it would have made the Cavaliers better.
Donovan, his athleticism is starting to falter. You're seeing there were less dunks. I mean, statistically, you can look. They track all that stuff. Everything's now a layup. It's different. He's starting to deteriorate a little bit.
As great as him signing that extension and agreeing to stay around and committing to the Cavaliers is, the thought of paying him $70 million in 5 years does not appeal to me at all.
Donovan. Yeah. But this is the age-old issue right now in the NBA that a lot of teams are going to be confronted with if you don't have a top 5 player.
The wage scale, though,
and
right?
You can't get a better player than Donovan Mitchell. Right. It doesn't exist, the way you can't just sign him in free agency. That you can't just go get a Luka. You can't even, funny thing, the Lakers were able to do it, but it's hard to get those guys.
Yeah.
The Cavs were stuck, and they don't own their picks, so it didn't make any sense to trade and to, like, tear the team apart.
Right.
That doesn't make sense when you have Evan Mobley at his age.
I've had many conversations with people about Donovan and about being the number one, because that's really the only criticism I have of him as a player, is that he's not a number one. And you're paying that kind of a money to a guy who's not a number one. And the response I always get is, what's the alternative? Not having him and being in the lottery, right? So you do what you have to do. And again, the pay scale is the pay scale. Just because I don't think he's worth that kind of money, look, that's what the job pays.
Well, and the reality is you still need a player like Donovan Mitchell. Like every NBA team needs somebody who can fill it up and say what you want. Like
he's an electrifying player.
The people the way they criticize Donovan, you'd think that he is just some playoff failure when his game has been able to be elevated in the postseason. Yeah. Look at the 50-point games. Look at the amount of 40-point games. Like, you do need to have guys that can score regardless.
Game 5 in Detroit.
He 39 in the first.
He carried the Cavaliers in that game.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people are just looking.
Couldn't do it in Game 6 though.
No. James Harden had to bail them out. James Harden had to bail them out. And again, you can't rely on a 30. Now he'll be 37 next year. You can't rely on that guy and put that kind of an onus. And James Harden led the team in minutes in the postseason. The hell was that? 216-474-0092. A couple of you waiting there. I promise I'll get to you where the Cavs do have some potential moves that I think would help them get better. We'll do that and close the show when we come back. Plus, who knew there was another Cavs reunion over the last week? Wasn't just about LeBron James getting together with his friends. There's another reunion. Was this one as worthy? Did some people miss out on the party? That's straight ahead on Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
plus free shipping. Black Friday in July ends July 27th. Shop today at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Sign up to be a part of the fan club. Download the free Odyssey app and follow 92.3 The Fan to get all of the best audio and best stories sent straight to your inbox. 92.3thefan.com.
I'll get back to the phones here in just a moment. So we all remember how awesome it was because we thought this reunion a few weeks ago, it was a month ago. We thought it was going to lead to LeBron James getting nostalgic and come home to help this Cavalier
You're talking
team.
about the 2016
yes
going golfing reunion /
oh yeah,
Billy showed up later.
Hitting wine country in Europe.
Yep, J.R. Smith, Kevin Love,
Richard Jefferson, Channing. Yeah.
No Mozgov, though.
And no Kyrie. Yeah, big controversy about Kyrie.
And then Kyrie put out a statement.
Oh, yeah. And, in the end, LeBron, I guess, where'd he go? Philly? He didn't come home.
So, yeah, that's what I heard I think he's going to Philly.
Went to Philly. But there's another reunion that transpired over the weekend.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw this.
I didn't. Tell me more.
This was the iconic playoff dynamo.
Of the 2018 Cavs?
No.
Oh.
Not that one. And no, not people were wondering Mark Price.
The
and
2007 Cavs?
Now, that would have been interesting. Also, not
Danielle
the
Marshall
case.
wants an invite.
Eric Snow. Have you seen Eric Snow lately?
Yeah.
I don't think he'd
had it at Chinese buffet.
I don't think he'd leave the cruise ship. I think he would just stay right there. Anyway, I shouldn't say it. Northeast Ohio's own Eric Snow. No, there was a reunion for now. It's different reunions. You get guys together again that have something to celebrate, something you may have accomplished. Yeah. Do you remember the playoff run in 2024? Was that it?
Oh, yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, that was the big one. Now, they lost to the Indiana Pacers, so their run was cut short. 2025, yeah. 2024-2025 season.
Right. Started 24.
Yes.
Wait a minute, they needed to have a reunion for that? Aren't they all still on the team?
Well, it's funny you mention because
one of them's in L.A., I think.
That would be Darius Garland, who looks like they got the private jet. They've got Evan Mobley. They've got, looks like Evan Mobley's brother. They have Tristan Thompson. Jalen Tyson said no invite, ? And Ty Jerome goes, right? So apparently Ty Jerome was not invited to this as well. Isn't it nice to see those guys reminiscing about what a run?
It is good that they are.
What a run they had.
Reminiscing getting slapped around by the Pacers in the second round.
Now, wait a second. Yes, they won 64 games. Daryl, you are choosing to mock because of how they went out. But you remember, the biggest margin we had ever seen, I think, up until that point in NBA playoff history over the course of 4 games.
Celebrating that big wipeout of the Miami Heat in the first round.
Yeah. Now, the Heat were technically the 10 seed.
Only to get beat up by the Pacers in the second round.
So they really weren't a playoff team. I mean, they were in the playoffs.
They got in.
They got in.
But in the old rules, they would not have gotten in.
They played their way in.
So, you know what? Hey, this is the time to Can you imagine James Harden and Dean Wade getting together?
Are we going to get the Cavs play-in team reunion going too?
Oh, that's right. Well, that was the one they lost to Trae Young. Trae Young bounced us, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it didn't go so well.
I don't know. Is there a reunion from the Cavs shot team?
Well, that was the thing I was going to say. Like, I see people still going, hey, yeah, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, but they were terrible to root for. Whatever. I don't know. Are people clamoring to have fun again for the play-in team? To watch them grow, watch them germinate into a team that was dead on arrival and had no chance to go anywhere? Was more fun for some of you?
Here's why they were terrible to root for. It's because LeBron spoiled us all and made going through the Eastern Conference playoffs year after year after year look easy. It's not easy. it's really hard to survive and advance in an NBA postseason. And LeBron made it look the Knicks this year made it look easy. They went 16-2 on the way to winning the NBA championship. Like, that's rare. That just, title runs like that don't happen where you're just sweeping teams left and right all the way through the playoffs. LeBron made it look easy when he was here from 2014 to 2018. And I think we all got spoiled by that. I think we all forgot just how difficult it is. And also, too, when they traded for James Harden, and I'll admit that I'm kind of part of this, we all assumed that the road was going to be a little easier for the Cavaliers in doing so. But they had to go 7 games, their first 2 rounds of the playoffs. And James Harden was part of the reason why they went 7 games. He's also part of the reason why they got through in 7 games in those series.
Up and down.
Absolutely. But we got spoiled.
Very down on some of those. Let's go to Brad and Willowick. Go ahead, Brad. You are next up on Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan. How are you?
Hey, guys. Doing good. Big time fans. 2 quick points. I wouldn't have been as upset at LeBron on Friday as I was if he didn't try this out all through July. I agree with you guys that LeBron wasn't enough. I think that we should have offered Evan Mobley for Giannis or Jaylen Brown. We get either one of those guys. LeBron comes here, we got a championship caliber team. I think this falls on Altman, who was outdueled by Gansey, his former assistant.
Oof. Thank you for the call.
Did the Cavs keep the wrong guy in the front office?
Well, to be a fly on the wall in Dan Gilbert's office, watching Philly make the splash moves, getting Jaylen Brown, all these.
Do you think Dan was really upset on Friday?
On Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think he was upset?
Even if he doesn't have this relationship with LeBron, Dan has a relationship with the fans of Cleveland. And he also has a relationship with the business side.
Yes.
And there is no doubt a lot of stuff just changed, not having LeBron James walk through your door.
They froze the tickets, right? Season tickets were froze because they were waiting to see what would happen, which affects your business side of things. Yeah.
And just, let's be honest, like, this were LeBron's last season, which he still hasn't said. He did say it's his last decision. There'd be people flying in from all over.
I mean, it's a 2-year contract with a player option, which, by the way, there's a trade kicker apparently in this contract.
Yeah.
He gets a 15% raise from the $4 million that he's going to make.
I think
so. Teams looking to trade for LeBron James, beware.
I think he doesn't want to get Chris Paul'd. Like, what if
the Cavs trade for LeBron?
This I don't think that's going to happen now. You can never say never, because remember, Dwayne Wade, he ended up back in Philly.
What if this was all part of them?
Miami?
Here's one for you, Lima.
We traded him there.
What if this was all just part of the master plan to come back to Cleveland? Well, I'm going to go to Philadelphia. You put out a big thing, and then the Cavs trade for him.
Like, people do realize the Philly thing could blow up in a big way.
Oh, it could be a spectacular Titanic.
And you could have said the same thing in Cleveland.
Yes.
So I'm being totally honest. The same things I was prepared to say if he were in Cleveland. I was just going to act more enthusiastic. That's all.
This absolutely could be a dumpster fire in Philadelphia.
It could be. And Maxi's great, and Jaylen Brown's great. We have no idea if these guys can play together. Yeah. I always say high basketball IQ guys tend to figure things out. But Joel Embiid, like, I've heard these podcasters say dead on arrival every year with Joel Embiid.
Yep.
Then you have to still say it now. They have no chance to win a championship with Joel Embiid. You have to say it. If you've said it before, what's changed? Joel Embiid is still on the poster. Daryl, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Owen, for John, our PI, our gumshoe. Terrific job. Joey, putting the videos together in the back, and Danny Cunningham, who was on. Check out the rewind function on the Odyssey app if you missed that from earlier today.